As I suspected, 32 flavors.
That's my opinion!
Here we are at episode 20 of Toxic Tuesday. What's up, everyone? It is Tuesday night, and I'm so glad you could join us. We have yet another toxic flick of wonder and just devastation and an amazing soundtrack. I'm not gonna go too into that right now. I'm really excited. This is a movie I've been really wanting to cover. And you always want when this whole thing started with Toxic Tuesday, and it kind of became like a temporary thing that moved on to a more long form thing. That's like you want to cover all these flicks, but you want to make sure there's a flow with the flicks going. You really want to make sure like you keep people interested, and you have to put certain flicks in certain areas. So it is tricky. It does get a little challenging. But that said, I'm glad that for the 20th episode, we can cover the masterpiece that I say. Yes, masterpiece. That is Bloodsport. And we see Amen Fate here in the chat said, man, I want to make the stream. Gotta work, have a go. Hey, dude, catch the replay, man. But thank you for dropping by. Hello, 29. You did a great job, Bloodsport. Let's not forget him. No retreat, no straw. We will not forget him. D. Bud Martin. Hail, Toxic Ones. Hail, D. Bud Martin. What's up, dude? How are you doing? Nice to see you here, as always. And now I'm going to bring our fellow, Null Void. Oh, what shit? What's up, Null Void? Nice to see you here as well. Cheers, sir. Darius Munchausen. What's up, dude? How are you, sir? Nice to see you guys. Cheers, beers, coffee. And now no have to remember that term from Diva now, the Toxic Ones. Yes, well, the panelists will be called the Toxic Ones. And then Islington Girl says, where's the best place for requests for future Toxic Tuesdays? Twitter? Yeah, we could demand Twitter. And speaking of, not Twitter, but about requests, we have a vote going on the community section for next week's flick. So cast your votes. We have Escape from New York, Con Air, and Demolition Man. So, and it's funny because there was like all these votes for, what's it called? Con Air and Demolition Man, and also Escape from New York just started getting a bunch of votes, and now like Escape and Con Air are kind of competing with each other. So I'm just letting you guys know. I will let it go on till maybe like Friday. But so far Demolition Man's in the lead, but either way we're not gonna lose because these are all badass flicks. So cast your vote, damn it. This is the vote that actually will count. It will not be fortified. And that's a fucking promise on my behalf. So vote, secure the vote, rot the vote. It's going to be glorious. And yeah, right. Oh, shit. How can you choose one over the other, right? I know. No, these are three flicks you're not going to lose from. And trust me, I planned out, want to make sure if I'm going to do this, I want to make people very conflicted. So that way I made you want to show up for next week. That was the trick, man. That was the trick. I want you all to show up. But I'm going to introduce the panelists because they have been waiting so eloquently and, dare I say, patiently. And I got started with the very first co-host of the scene, the magnificent one himself, the machismo one of wonder. He is the Mad Martigan.
Sorry, that's my what was the Oh, that poor deaf bastard.
That was good, dude. That was really good. How are you, dude?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited for this movie, dude. It is one of my favorites, man. I love everything about it. And Frank Dukes there's so much to talk about him in of himself. Like at the end, when it says this is based on a true story, which is right. Mind blowing. You're like, what? No, it is not. Like you immediately start arguing with the credits when it tells you it's based on a true story.
Yeah, all the statistics.
Yeah, there's a reason why it came on at the end and not the beginning. Because if they would have been like, this is based on a true story, get the fuck out of here. I saw the trailer. Anyway.
No. Hey, dude, I'm glad you're back. I know you had like a detox from last week, so now you're back on.
Yeah, just needed to, do some stuff last week. Take a week off and feeling good now, man. Allergies are killing me though. But
dude, Same. My allergies, like, you know what? Of all the things that helps with my allergies, believe it or not, it's coffee. I don't know what it is, but coffee clears up my sinuses, and I'm like, it's like I'm feeling good. Like before this, like panel, like I was just like, ugh. Now I'm just like, fuck yeah, bro. And I've been going since 5 a.m. and sleeping off 4 hours from last night's yelling at parked cars. So I'm feeling
I
good.
was there.
Oh, I
yeah.
know, dude. You killed it.
But no, dude, like I didn't even know I had allergies for the first 3 or 4 years. I just thought I kept getting sick at the same time every year until like my girlfriend was like, "Hey, how about you try Claritin D?" I'm like, "Wow, this is amazing." But it made a big difference. Yeah, never could figure it out. But
It's okay. You figured it out now.
oh man, it's killing me today though, bro.
Oh, don't worry, another monster. We will relax now that you're here. We will now relax.
A little disappointed I didn't get that Kumite chant that I was requesting from the chat, but that's all right though.
Oh man, I saw one of the comment. I think it was Islington Girl. I want to highlight this really good. Saying it's a shame that I have not seen Con Air. All I have to say is I stress the fuck out of that movie that you watch it. Watch it. Trust me, it's worth it. It's fucking worth
My
it.
favorite part is when Sai's about to kill that dude. He goes, and the guy goes, Sai, and he goes, Anara. It's the dumbest thing. You know, he won't talk about that movie at all. The guy, I forgot his name that played Sai. He's like a really big actor. I forgot what his name is. John Malkovich. Refuses. He will not answer any questions about Con Air because one, he said he didn't even know what his character was, what he was doing in the movie. Mm-hmm. He had no idea what the movie was. It's like, I guess that's his Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, that's great. I actually don't even mind that flick, but I won't get into it. But we got the guys waiting back here ever so patiently and eloquently as well. I will introduce that 70s rock fan.
I'm not ready yet. Come back in a minute. No, sorry. Hi. I'm actually just here for the genital check, so that's the only reason I'm here. Oh,
well,
he's gone.
We're good. Anyway,
who's gone?
Greetings to you, my friend. How are you doing tonight?
I'm awesome. Yeah, I get 4 days off work now, so it's the weekend for me. Long weekend. It's cool. And I persuaded the wife to watch Bloodsport last night. So
did you
She'd
really?
never seen it, and I said, "You got to watch this with me," and she watched it, and that was very interesting.
Absolutely toxic. They're absolutely toxic. Hello, Sherry. She says Steve Buscemi's freaking creeping Con Air. Oh man, hell yeah! And then, all right, we got another guy up back here, returning as always. I'd say he's definitely one of the frequent panelists. Mr. Dustin of Brutal and Kettle Simple. What's up, sir?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Hey, man.
Yo.
Hey,
How you doing, my friend? How's your weekend? Yeah, living the dream. Yeah, very dreamful. I like it. Well, dude, I'm glad you could show up for this one. I know this is going to be a mighty flick to talk about. And, well, I got a few of these here, so I guess I got to play this clip twice. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
Sweet moment. Happy days. Happy memories.
Yes, that is the clip that we now play when I get money. So this is Deleted Scenes, aka Steven on for $2.99 says, Hail Nick Weiser, panel and chat. I was called away elsewhere. We'll hop back into the chat later on if I can. Or else I'll catch the replay. Enjoy the show. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And I gotta do this for the Islington girl as well. Because you know what? All is fair when you have to do...
It was really hard to root against him after that.
that made it the best.
Right?
The Islington girl for $3 says pizza for the patriarchy. Thank you, Islington girl. Hell yeah. So now you guys know that when I get money sent my way, you get to see Thanos deck Captain Marvel, and it's glorious. So everyone should be happy with that. And we got one last guy here. He is one of the mods. And to many, he is the red shirt, but he likes to think of himself as just another red shirt. Hello, sir.
How you doing, Nick Weiser? Thank you for
I'm
having
good.
me. This is great. I'm looking forward to this. I love this movie.
Oh, well,
great
thank you for
movie.
coming on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
No, okay. And sorry, had to guess something. Yeah, but your Muslim uncle, best clip ever. And then you guys are watching the best thing. Dude, that's the whole point of it. Was that Brie Larson getting her ass handed back to her? You damn right it was. So
Hell
when
yeah.
you guys send me money, that's the clip I play. So don't try to swap me too much, though.
So that's
we don't have
where
to play that
her
over
ass
and over
went in
again.
the first place. Her ass has been ripped off in the first place. She
I was
didn't
gonna
have
say the
one
same
throughout the
thing.
entire movie.
So I guess I'll start with me here. I have grown up with Bloodsport. I think I first watched it when I was 9. I think around 9 years old. And my dad, my brother are always into anything martial art movies wise, and I was into it too. Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Van Damme, yada yada. And I remember hearing the name Bloodsport, and that name really stood out to me. I'm like, Bloodsport. And I just remember watching all these you don't think about the story then, you just remember all the fighting and just
With the
watching
story.
you just think about all the intense badass fighting and
I think of the love story, bro.
Tender love story.
Tender loving love story. So
and that baby smooth ass of his.
We'll get to that later.
Speedo and all.
Oh no, dude, those were Moonies, Mooney tidies, like tidy Mooney Maroonies.
And the low-cut T-shirt. What was with the low-cut T-shirt? I mean,
that's all he wore in from 1988 to 2004.
Weird.
It's same shirts. Yeah.
That was his attire, man. That was the Van Damme way. But in this movie, he was Frank Dukes.
He must have had an endorsement deal.
He must have, yeah. Frank Dukes.
That and belly button high khaki pants too. That was this.
Sorry. No. Just being blown away by all the excellent fights going on. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then that last fight, which of course we'll get to, it's just to have that fight with the because all the facial expressions he does, where it's just like you're just like it stood out to me. Just saying you're a kid, you're just like, yeah, I want to be that guy. And that name stuck to me. That was my big gateway into Jean-Claude Van Damme as well. That was a big deal. I was like, this guy is badass. His name is badass. I just consecutively gone back to it every year, a few times a year, dare I say. And it's just each and every time, and things I've gained more fondness for over time, the music. What a soundtrack, man. Oh my God. So good. What a soundtrack. And you look at it, you're like, wow, dude, there's so many catchy songs. Fight to Survive right here, as I'm sure.
Just have to admire the guy's name, Stan Bush. That's a great name.
Stan, yeah, right. Stan Bush. That Bush is a Stan. Yeah, he pushed up a few of these songs, and still, oh my God, seriously, there's such an infectious soundtrack, and they're super catchy songs, and you go.
I'm pretty sure half of it was ripped off from the Human League or OMD.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And Comic Thing is Dangerous says Mad Martigan is back. Yes, he is.
That's right, I'm back.
But yeah, the soundtrack was something I've gained fondness for, and it's going to be something I'm going to hunt for the vinyl for, which I absolutely have to. And you know what your Muslim uncle did, so now that he did that, I just have to.
I'm seriously starting to think maybe Thanos was right. I agree with him so much on that. Maybe I need to reevaluate his
I was rooting for Thanos the whole time.
Your Muslim uncle for $2 says to watch Captain Haircut cut her smacked up. Thank you, your Muslim uncle. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the soundtrack the vinyl is something I gotta hunt out for. That's a big thing for me. And I've also noticed I've gained a lot more fondness too for his buddy Ray in the movie because, like, if you think about it,
Booger.
Frank Dukes is like more the Zen one, where his buddy Ray is really the actual toxic one. He's one just slamming something all crazy and rowdy. You're like, "Argh!" Like,
Yeah, I killed him.
No,
Right.
I've gained fondness for him, like even though he's just like just a regular friend of his who he meets when they play arcade. So those are the things I've gained more appreciation for over time is the friendship and how cool of just an all around bro he is. He was the actual toxic one, whereas Frank Dukes was the Zen guy because that's what he grew up with, obviously from his we all know how he had his origin story trying to steal a certain blade. So those are the things I gained fondness for over time. So, Mr. Mad Martigan, why don't you talk about your life story with Bloodsport?
I love this movie, man. This was, again, one of my cousin's VHS tapes that I would watch at my grandparents' house when they went to sleep. I love it. Booger from Nerds, like, he's so good in it. He's not toxic. I don't see anything about that. But
oh, dude, you tell me when he won that fight, got the blood all over his chest, and he didn't even wipe off. He just kept it there. Do you not remember that?
Name 12 toxic things that Booger did in this movie.
He harassed that woman in the subway or the bus.
You mean flirt? I think he meant flirt.
That's why I thought he was the villain the first time I watched it. Because he's
really comes off
mean
that
to
way.
a woman in a bus.
Yeah.
I thought he's got to be the bad guy.
Oh, yeah. I know, right?
Well, I didn't think it was going to be the bad, but it definitely comes off like, oh man, these two are not going to get along. And then he's like, hey, you want to play me in this karate game that's boring as shit, but we're going to make the audience watch an entire match.
Twice.
Yeah, you're pretty good at this. Yeah, I don't do it. This train, or whatever. Like, anyway, it's so good. This movie is so racist in the best ways. Because immediately after they meet playing karate, right, they come up to this dude who I only can assume is from Saudi Arabia. However, he looks Asian. Also, his accent was Russian. I don't know what he was supposed to be. He was like, all right, guys, I guess they're like, look, Levitz, the writer, was like, we need a Russian, someone from Saudi Arabia, and another Asian. You're going to do all three at once.
Yeah, no, and it was. But, dude, once again, another flick that just works with what they have, and they execute it to the fullest, and that's what makes it beautiful.
I'm going to hold off on getting on the whole Frank Dukes thing because that is a whole other can of worms. But I do want to mention that all of the fighters except for Booger, they were real fighters, dude. I forgot his name, the Muay Thai guy, right? That dude was a champion Muay Thai fighter, one of the best ever. They were all real fighters. They didn't want any stuntmen, which is why the fights in this come off so well. Is because they did, they did all this training and they know what they're doing. And Frank Dukes himself trained Jean-Claude Van Damme, who, by the way, JCVD said it was the hardest training that he ever did. And apparently Frank Dukes once told him, you're not ready to be in a fictionalized movie about me or some shit. But anyway, yeah, so that's it really the effort that they put in to make those fights look so good really is what holds this movie up to this day, because everything else is just cuckoo bananas.
This movie knows it's cuckoo bananas, and it's great for it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. But I'll let 70s go. But yes, I started watching this movie. I don't even know, probably 9 like you, man. And it was this, like Rocky 4, and like a couple other VHS that my cousins had at my grandma's. I watched them all the time, dude.
Speaking of Rocky 4, before we let 70s go, the director's cut's coming out. I think that might have to be a Toxic Tuesday review, that Rocky 4 movie. I think that would definitely be one that deserves a review, especially since it's supposed to be like an additional half-hour footage. Just a thought, but anyway.
Really?
Just an extra half hour of a montage.
I'm okay with that. If it's a half-hour montage, yeah. What's the problem? That's amazing.
I would like twice that long. My heart's already on fire.
My strong desire. What's up, David? All right.
Sorry.
That 70s rock fan.
Oh,
Talk about your life story of Bloodsport.
Where do you begin? Well, I actually didn't see this at the cinema, and I'm not even sure they showed it when I was living in the UK in cinemas that I can recall. I was actually out of the country on a very secret undercover mission, Matt. So, like some of us are highly trained in that area, but we can't talk about it.
He was just too good. He was supposed to lose. He just couldn't do it, though. He was too good and became the greatest Kumite fighter ever.
That's right.
Sorry.
So I ended up seeing it on a bootleg VHS tape on it was roughly about a 14-inch television. And then you know what bootleg VHS tapes are like? They're translated into 3 languages before they get translated back into English again. So apparently, according to the box on this tape, it was a guy called Frank Dix, who was the leader of the Dix division. And he was trained by a guy called Teriyaki to participate in the Come Tight, which was a martial arts tournament. And then 2 armless officers are sent to find him in Hong Kong, Fui. And then he ends up facing Shang-Chi with his 10 golden cock rings, and they all live happily ever after. So that was roughly the plot when I first saw it. And translated from the original Belgian, which is, of course, we all know very close to Latin. But I remember thinking...
it's Greek to me.
And it's true, I did watch it on a VHS like mad, and it was a very small television. And I was thinking, my God, this film's incredible. How do they do all that? These fights are just fucking amazing. And I was like, the acting's a bit, rough around the edges, perhaps, but it looks so good. The Hong Kong stuff, I love the scenes in the Kowloon area. I mean, you could see that they didn't have a lot of money for budget, but that alone was worth better than a set filming in that real area. It just looked fantastic. Yeah. So I just remember thinking, I'd never seen anything like it with the faces, the in slow motion and so a fabulous experience,
T-Pod.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So
by the way, I can't wait to go back to rewatch this and listen, and pick up on everything you did for your description of the VHS box. Because at first I'm like, wow, that's crazy, really, Dix? And then you kept going, I'm like, oh, this is a whole bit. Okay.
That's right, but I'm pretty sure that in bootleg VHS tapes in countries, the sort of country I was working in at the time, they were all very roughly translated from different languages to other ones, and you didn't really get the real plot from reading them.
No, definitely not.
But I just couldn't believe after when I found out how little they'd made this movie for, But
this one and Kickboxer, right? I think that was a follow-up, both of them. Like, I forgot how much it cost.
$1.5
million
it was like or something,
something like that. But it's made so much money.
Super
it
profitable.
Money.
Yes, we'll definitely get into that. We'll get into that. Do you have anything else you want to add to that 70s?
Have I not brought the conversation down enough yet? I mean, can I go lower? No, not particularly. I mean, there's lots to say going forward. I'm sure we'll get to that. So
we will.
Someone else have a go.
And before we do, Ella Gabulus says, P.S. Nick Weiser has sub with all alerts on, but I'm not receiving notifications. Plus, you don't appear in my feed, FY. Dude, I mean, I was just talking with the boys before I got on here. I'm pretty sure I'm blacklisted. I mean, my videos, I F-bomb like crazy, and I don't edit them out, so that probably may have something to do with that. So, I would say just keep in mind Toxic Tuesday is always at 9 p.m. Central Time, always. So at least that's consistent. You might just have to sadly randomly check my page at random for when videos pop up. It seems to be some people are getting notifications and a lot of people are not. So it just shows you how blacklisted I must be on the YouTube world. But that's fine. That's not stopping me from doing all this and still having fun with everyone here. So onwards and upwards. Dustin, for you, my friend, talk.
Man, this movie was one of those movies that I never had on VHS. It was always catching it on TV. So edited to shit, right? Because we didn't get cable till mid to late middle school. So I was watching everything on channel 59 or whatever Fox is or was, and so trying to watch this movie and totally edit it out. So when I went back and watched it the other day, it had been a while, and I'm watching it and it's it's really a whole different experience from watching it now than from watching it when I was younger. So like not quite, the 70s rock fan experience, but just watching it, and my lady was watching it with me, and I was like, so you could tell that like they were like legitimate fighters and not actors because of like the way they like how far they were pulling their punches back and their kicks and stuff. Because like they like you're like wasn't even near his face, but you can see what they were doing was legit.
I don't know why you have to come on here and lie. They made contact with every punch. But, real quick, like I love the whole it was censored. You had to watch it on TV. So my copy of Jerry Maguire. Wait, is that what it's called? Right, Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise.
Right.
Got it from a friend, from like a family friend or whatever. I grew up like in the church. You know what I mean? And I never knew there was a sex scene in that movie until I was well in my 20s, because on my VHS copy, it gets cut to a cartoon. And then when it comes back, they're all sweaty and talking. I'm like, it's weird. Oh, would they put a cartoon in the middle of this? That was my copy of Jerry Maguire.
A lot of our movies were like
that.
that.
Like mad though.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all
because we would record movies off of TV. Like we would, like movie was coming on, we would hit record on the VCR and record it, and then just you got to know like when to hit fast forward through the commercials, or like if there was a storm, like when you're recording the show, then like you had like the thunderstorm stuff coming through.
Oh yeah,
and like taking minutes and minutes out of your show. You're like, come on.
Yes.
So
you got anything else?
Movies in certain movies?
Mad don't want that though. You don't need that.
Nobody else ever had like a censored version of a movie with a cartoon thrown in to cover up a section.
No, we never had the church sanction version.
Yeah, because living in the working in the Middle East for a while, everything was censored unless you had sneaked in copies of things. So like there was no men and women allowed. Men and women weren't allowed to be in a bed together, so the film would just cut at that point, and then the next thing you see them back out off the bed again. It was.
Dude,
and they couldn't touch. They weren't allowed to touch each other. So.
Well, when I was there, man, it was all about the. Can I say Haji? I don't know. It was all about the bootleg DVDs that you would get at the stores. And, that's how I ended up.
That's what I'm saying. That's how I saw this film on a bootleg VHS tape first. And it was. I mean, a lot of those you got the tape, and it was.
I think I saw
a completely different movie in the cover.
I think I saw on TV. I think like TNT or something. I just remember seeing it on regular TV. I think it was like some like TNT or some. It was probably some botched down edited version, but I still got the gist of what was going on.
I know what you're doing, 70s. You're trying to coax me into talking about something that there's no need to talk about.
You would have loved those edits. That's all I can say.
Well, there's a whole racket of like these. There's like this church organizations that'll go in and take all these popular movies and like Christianize them.
Yo, do it with music all the time.
Do what?
They do it with music as well.
The guy that's doing that editing is collecting all the edited bits together for his own use and putting them into one big movie that he can watch on his own.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I guys, forgive me, but I have to do this.
I thought you were going to tell us to shut up.
Mr. Tickle Trunk for $5 says, "You're not a man until you learn to deflect a taser with a garbage can lid. Hail to the panel." And thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk, for the $5. And thank you for giving me to have Thanos punch Captain Marvel once again. I appreciate that. So that's what you get now for that $5. Appreciate it, sir. Welcome to Toxic Tuesday, my friend. You got anything else you want to add, Dustin, before I give the floor to Red Shirt?
Give it to Red Shirt.
All right, Red Shirt, shoot away, my friend.
Well, this was the first Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that I ever saw. And having seen several others since, this is still my favorite movie that he did. And what you said, Mad, makes perfect sense, because I remember being struck when I watched this the first time that these looked like really actual identifiable fighting styles, where the people, I said, man, they must have trained for a very long time. Well, obviously they did if they were real fighters. They trained for a very long time to be able to do this.
Oh yeah, we're all familiar with the monkey the monkey Daido. Yeah, that's a real thing. I don't think that's a real one, is it?
Yeah, actually, monkey style kung fu is a real thing.
Like what that dude was doing, he was just crawling over the guy.
Yeah, but that's he's trying to be hard to hit because he's unpredictable. He's acting like an animal trying to bite your face off.
Well, it's hard to fight a guy that's practically lying on the floor. I mean, he's
exactly
so low down.
Yeah,
and the guy fighting him was throwing normal height punches. I was like, "What is going on, dude?
That's right. What are you punching?
You're gonna miss."
the movie Thai guy, he's just like, I love that guy.
Yes. So they had minimal story. Obviously, I just love the subplot with the two U.S. federal, the U.S. agents who were trying to get him back.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker
with a real actor,
with a whole head of hair and partly a lazy eye in the making.
His eye wasn't as bad in this one.
No. We'll debate the Forrest Whitaker lazy eye.
Yeah, but Dukes makes them look like such idiots at every turn. And they're very serious. They take their jobs very seriously. They're not playing this for laughs, but they're being made to look ridiculous in spite of their best efforts.
They're trying to go after one of the greatest human beings to ever walk this earth, Frank Dukes. They're going to get embarrassed.
Yeah, they're never going to be able to catch him and restrain him. I mean,
exactly. Not even the Air Force could keep track of him. I think he was Air Force. But it's a great story about the Kumite, about Frank Dukes. There's humor in it. The fighting scenes are amazing. You have the bad guy, the antagonist.
Chung-Li.
And essentially, by halfway through this match, that it's going to wind up being Dukes versus Chung-Li for the final of the match.
Oh yeah,
complete surprise. Even this 80th time I've seen the movie.
That at all. They didn't telegraph that at all.
I was like, what? These two are going to be in the final?
So I was watching this with Mrs. Rockfan, and she said, "Why are that guy's nipples pointing at the ground?" It's Chung-Li, and that's the difference between men and women. When men are in great shape, their nipples point down from their pectorals. Women that are in bad shape, their nipples point down to the ground too, but for different reasons. So,
he was Mr. Asia, right?
His nipples were pointing down at the ground because his pecs were so big.
I'm pretty sure Chun-Li was Mr. Asia.
The Chinese Hercules, they called him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a big bodybuilding and weightlifting champion. Mm-hmm. Apparently, yeah.
No, yeah, he was. They found him. He
lifted weights.
A couple, yeah.
A couple.
Chung-Li made the film. Take that, game as the Jack of all casuals. Right. What's up, Jack? Nice to see you.
You know what? They would probably be happy, like, oh, thank God they did not make her so, like, thank God they got rid of the male gaze by making her look like a real woman.
Oh, yeah, right.
They always said, they want them to look more manly now. Nailed it with Chung-Li.
Nailed it. $32 flavors of munchies, which would be Mr. Darius for $5, says this movie is based on true events. Well, thank you, Darius Munchausen, for the $5, and you just paid $5 to see Thanos deck Captain Marvel in the face. So, congratulations, thank you, and I appreciate it, sir. Anything else you want to elaborate on, Red Shirt?
No, I think we'll just get into the details of it.
I think we should start from the beginning. Yeah,
let's get the thick. I mean, what happened? It's obviously just the most simplest, basic origin story. I mean, obviously, Frank is a kid, and he just goes to the house, and they're breaking into the house, and he wants to steal a blade, and all of a sudden he's going to put it back. I wasn't going to take it, and all of a sudden what was the dad's name again, or father figure's name again?
Oh,
Tanaka,
yeah.
Tanaka, he just sees him and he just kind of takes him in. He takes him under his wing, and before you know it,
we watched different movies.
What?
Well, that is not how it went down for like the way I saw it.
So you watched the bootleg copy?
No, one. I'm pretty sure little Frank Dukes, what kind of a deal? I'm pretty sure he was autistic because like he cuts the little kid's hat, and he's like, "That's good. You have fighter spirit. You didn't move."
I thought he was blind,
or he's autistic. Like, there's a lot of reasons he may have not moved.
How do you know he couldn't paint?
What kind of a deal?
He was very autistic.
Yeah, autistic, dude. I mean,
With a
what?
big brush.
So the whole thing was he made a deal so he wouldn't get in trouble for stealing the sword. Was, hey, let my son beat up on you while I train him and just use you as a punching bag. Why do you always train him?
A bit weird.
Nah, he deserved it.
Oh, so apparently Soul who saw the church bootleg version. It does account. So
nobody broke in the church version. They never broke into the house because that's against the rules. So
he deserved it. Wearing, I'm pretty sure he had a San Francisco Giants hat on and a New York Giants jersey or shirt on.
That's what they could get at the local charity store in the wardrobe department. We're shopping there.
He's just a big fan of the Giants, wherever they may be.
So, anyways, Frank, we see like obviously like what's his name? Like, oh God, I'm already forgetting the dad's name. He loses his son. He loses his son, and and then Frank's like, I can learn the ways. His whole I can learn the ways speech type of thing. He's like, but you can't. Like that whole spiel's going on. And he's like, oh, but if I teach you, you better not mess this up. Obviously, paraphrasing here. And you see him practicing moves, doing things blindly, catching the arm, or doing the split with the tree. Like, I saw that, I'm like, oh, that split. No, thank you.
No, like it wasn't that bad because he could already do the splits before he had to do the. It wasn't like in Kickboxer where you guys like in bamboo trees just yanking on it. That one was a lot worse. But I have a theory, or other people have this theory too. But fuck it, I'm going to claim it. I think because it's never said that Kanaka, the son, was killed in the Kumite before by Chung Li.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They never mentioned that. Yeah,
okay. I could see that being plausible. Actually, no, I really do feel that way.
Yeah.
I could see that plausible. Yeah.
Because he was training to go to it.
Why would Dix never mention that then afterwards? Because you think that would be pretty personal. That was his friend. He was like a brother to him.
Well, he got a new brother in Booger.
Yeah, he decides he's going to go to Hong Kong. He's got to go to Hong Kong, man.
Yeah,
he's got to follow the path.
It's a great idea, but.
I honestly don't know why they didn't add that into the movie because it actually would have made it better. You could have cut out the whole the whole one night stand with this cuckoo banana fucking reporter and just added in it was a revenge story.
But you see, that was a smokescreen because Dix really loved Jackson. He told him at the end, "I love you." I mean, it was all a cover for the they didn't want to show the gay part of the movie.
You're saying she was his beard.
Yes.
How dare you?
Well, Booger had a good beard too, of course, but
Well, when he gets to Hong Kong, he obviously wants to get into the whole fighting arena, but he meets Ray, and as you mentioned earlier, it's what you think is this got to be the rivalry for the movie, but it ends up being because he obviously is hitting on that one girl on the bus, and you think, this must be the asshole in the movie, the villain. And it turns out he runs into the arcade center, and before you know it, they're just linking up. Like, the bromance immediately is on, right? Straight bromance immediately. Like, and that's usually how those bromances work.
Absolutely. Like, and by the way, all the ladies that are watching this, one, you shouldn't. This isn't for you. Two, this always happens with guys. Like, we'll meet, and just like, I don't know, we'll just connect or something. We're like, dude, did we just become best friends? It's stepbrothers, like, right? Like, let's go do karate in the garage. It just happens so quick. Yeah. So yeah.
But it seems so unlikely of a friendship, though. You know what I mean? Like, especially the way that they portrayed it in the beginning, like when he was being an asshole on the bus and he was sitting there watching him be an asshole on the bus. It seemed like he was going to step in and beat his ass.
Why?
And then, no, they became best friends.
I've had friends like that. I've had very toxic friends like that where I'm just I'll just be the guy that hangs out, and then I'm like, man, he really wants a piece of that. And all of a sudden, I talk to that guy later. I'm like, dude, what's going on there? Before you know, we have a drink and we're talking. I'm like, oh, hey, now we know each other. Yeah. It's all good.
It's just a woman, anyways.
But that's right. That shows how toxic this movie really is, because the thing on the bus with the girl, it was like Jean-Claude Van Damme just shrugs it off. He laughs. He's giving that woman hassle. Today that would be, oh my god.
Oh yeah, it would be all over TikTok and shit.
Yeah. Like, that was toxicity right there.
Well, compare it. I love the way they juxtapose that with our Saudi Arabian, Russian, Asian guy, and he's like,
"You pick one and stick with it."
Right? He's like, "Oh no, hold on, Vutke, like no, you'll come up to my room with me." I can't do it because I'm trying to do an Asian accent.
She's coming with me to the room.
Yeah. See, now that was bad behavior. Ray on the bus was just like, "Hello, ma'am. Would you like to go out on a date with me? I am here for – no? Okay, well, I hope you have a lovely day." And he went back to drinking his beer and left her alone. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. But this other guy, not cool, dude.
How much for the women? Different movie. But, I mean, it's interesting that I really thought Jackson was the bad guy for the first 5 minutes, and no, wait a minute,
not even for a second.
He's gonna be the buddy. He's the buddy.
Well, he was so much fun immediately. Came on the bus with a beer and a beard and a Harley Davidson shirt,
a beer in his beard, and he was drinking once.
Yeah, just kicks his feet up, getting comfortable. Yeah,
and
really nasty curly hair.
We were saying that Jackson doesn't really look like he's in shape. Is he going to squash somebody to death? Or is he super powered that he sweats on them and drowns them or something?
He's the only one that's not a fighter that has no experience whatsoever. And you can tell in his fights, his main thing is like push people off the mat.
Yeah.
It's a style. It's the Nicky Thump, as they call it in Yorkshire. Yeah.
The level of hubris he has for as soon as he made, like, I'm gonna kill you, man. I'm gonna kill you.
Oh yeah, that's all it was. I'm gonna kill you.
Like, have you not been paying attention? Like, what, do you know what this is? And
just
then he knocks him down.
Guy, yeah.
He knocks him down. He's like, "Yeah, I killed him." That's not what kill means. That's not what that means. I don't think he knows what death is. He knocks him down.
He's
not
like put into a coma.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I can." He didn't put him in he just knocked him off his feet for a little bit. Oh, I really thought he was dead, by the way.
Well, the thing is, it would have been much better for dramatic purposes if Jackson had died.
Absolutely not.
No, it would have been great for dramatic purposes. No. Oh, he just got beat up a bit and he's got some bruises. Well, that's really why you want to go and win this tournament for him now, you know?
I feel like it was a change to the script because, like,
you think so?
Oh yeah, dude. Because like the way they framed everything with like how like well, he doesn't say any noises because I think he's deaf. I think his character's deaf. Right? And like you're like, no, right? Like you really think he's dead. And then you go to the hospital, he's drinking a beer with a little bandage. He's like, nah, bro, I'm good. Right?
I mean, for dramatic purposes, it would have been better if he died.
Well, I think that may have been the way Levitz wrote it immediately initially, but Ray was just so much fun on the show. And he's, you know what I mean? Like he was so carried. We got to keep him in. How are we going to get around this?
I get what you're saying about the character confusion, though, because we had an argument last night about I said that guy, that's the Hispanic fighter. The guy, it was actually quite a good MMA style.
The movie
he had the red shirt, shorts with looked like Asian lettering on them, but he looked. And I said that guy looks. Look, that'll be his name was Pablo or something or whatever.
Oh yeah.
She said he's not Hispanic, so we had this 5-minute argument. And I said, you're right enough. He does look like John Turturro a bit. He's you couldn't really tell where somebody was from. Yeah.
Tell me that's not toxic. After he wins his fight, he goes sit down and he has blood on his chest and he keeps it. He doesn't clean up. Yeah. He just keeps it there like it's something.
The question is it his own blood or somebody else's? That's important.
Yeah. This is all about safety. Like, he's not just going to be wiping it with his hands. He has to get the appropriate material to soak it up to, prevent. Like, this is all about safety first, guys. Bloodsport, if anything, is about
I can
safety
wash
first.
that off with beer very quickly.
He had blood in the sport.
I love when they walk in. There's a little bit of blood, and Ray's like, "That's why they call it Bloodsport, kid." It's not really that. It was maybe like in 1988, like, oh man. But now with the UFC, and you're like, yeah, okay. Like it's no worse than what you see in the UFC.
It wasn't that brutal, really, was it?
No.
I mean, if you think about it.
Oh, are we playing whose pecs are these? And we have to identify which actors' pecs
that's
they are.
Jean-Claude.
Yeah, of course.
Because if it was Chung Li there, Chang-Chi, his nipples point directly downwards.
Yeah, Shang-Chi. Oh, my God.
Shang-Chi, the golden rings, with his golden cock rings.
Hold up. There's our guy. There he is.
I was born with a wandering eye.
His eye retired before his career began.
He's a real actor. Half the budget probably went on his salary. He's real.
Oh my God! I really just heard that his eye retired before his career. That was well stated. Like, look at the head of hair too. Like, I almost didn't recognize him because I'm so used to him without hair for so long. Like, it's just like, oh, hold up. And it was because of the lazy eye. I'm like, oh shit, that's Forrest Whitaker. There was a time he had hair on his head, but he still had a lazy eye in the works. Man, look at that shit.
And I love to see that he's been able to keep that shape throughout like almost his entire life, you know? Like he's always been that shape.
He has, yeah. Didn't he do a martial arts movie at one point?
Ghost Dog.
The Way of
the Way of I think you're right.
Ghost Dog or The Way of the Ghost Dog or
The Way of the Samurai. I think Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, something like that.
Yeah,
that may be it.
I don't know whether he's into that or not, whether he was just acting.
I don't know.
I think he did do a mystical martial arts thing.
By the way, I have no idea.
Texan guy as well.
I have no idea who these two work for because they're so different in age. Like I assume because Frank Dukes was in the Army, this is going to be Army CID, right? Criminal Investigation Division. Well, I guess would be the ones to go chase them. There's a lot of jurisdiction problems with that. Not over Jean-Claude Van Damme himself because he is Army property. They have jurisdiction on him no matter where he's at under military law. But for them to travel to Hong Kong to get this guy, and I don't know, like, and the one dude, like, he looks like that's
he's the crypt creep. They like the crypt keeper in training.
Yeah, like you're gonna be my replacement, kid. I got 3 days before retirement. Now I got to go to Hong Kong.
Well, because at the beginning of the movie, when Dukes takes off and the guy's like, "Well, I don't want to see you till he's back with you," and then they send other people to go get him. The other guy's like, "What about me?"
Oh, dude, the ADR in that scene with the colonel, or whatever that comes out, is so bad.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I've got it written here. The audio syncing, terrible. It's some of the worst audio syncing ever.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's been dubbed into a different language because
I think they did ADR for everything. I don't think they took any audio from I think they had everybody in the booth after it was filmed and had everyone do the lines because there's one scene with Jean-Claude Van Damme and the reporter. I refuse to learn her name, and
what a shock.
Like it is like they're not in the same room with each other, right? Because he's like, oh, it's so exciting, you have to see it, and she's like kind of somber with her responses or whatever. It just doesn't match. Like their moods is insane.
You got to think as well that they got them in the booth afterwards and said, right, we're just going to do this ADR in one go. You're all in here together. We're just going to do it in one go.
They just did the table read.
Yeah, table read. Yeah.
Oh, Chung Li, we don't need any sounds from you whatsoever. Don't worry about it. You can just be silent.
Yeah. And finally, it got better as the movie went on. It wasn't as bad by the end of the movie. Yeah. At the beginning, it was terrible.
Well, you learn on the job sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. They shot it in sequence.
I like how he meets a girl because some guys want to take her away, and it's all about taking a coin fast from his hand, and then it becomes, I want to have dinner with you, and that's it, and then that sets the stage for what would become the one night stand of all the things.
Man, so you got that.
We got our share of nudity in that scene, but none of it was her.
Nor should it have been.
My lady was like, "Wow."
That's right. My
Right?
God, that.
That
I
baby
love how
smooth
Van Damme
ass.
was just standing there too. Like I'm like, wow, he went full undie
Yeah.
speedo on that one.
And I love the double dip. Like no one puts on tidy white or tidy maroonies like that. You don't have to put it on and then like, oh, I did it wrong. Take like once they're on, they're on. He gets double dipped it for our pleasure. You know what I mean? Or the ladies, whoever, whatever. Anyway, so by the way, dude, you know he had to get rotted when he finally got back to that base because that chick had been sleeping with everybody, trying to find someone to get her into that to go be able to go check out that tournament at the Kumite. Oh, he got rotted. Poor guy.
He seemed pretty pointless in the movie, I have to say. Very little point.
Served nothing.
Oh darn, they don't have a movie
Dude,
shot.
she was like
Other
the
than the
most
coin gag.
quintessential,
The
like,
coin
80s
gag
broad,
was
though.
there. Yeah. Sorry, Dustin.
Darn.
Oh.
I thought I'd find it. I thought I'd try to
picture
find
of his
that.
ass? I can find it.
It was
me
just,
check
it
my
was
hard
just such
drive.
a
Hold on.
funny scene because it was just like, what the fuck did this come from? And for he's like, I gotta fight. No. And you see, I love the fights though, and the music that plays with the fights. The music actually like fits like the feel and the flow of the fights. It goes with it very well. Like it's really like gets you in. Like I feel like the hair standing on my arms. I'm like, ugh. Like also I want to see some fights. You get intense, watching the fights happen because the music then, and that's what music is supposed to do is get you like invest in the scene, how it sounds is supposed to be, how it's supposed to make you feel, and those songs are supposed to get you motivated, like you're in the fight, and like you're in the fight with him, and the songs that they picked for all the fights, that for the tournament, is where they go from like was that bracket 32 or 16, and they go quarterfinals, semifinals, finals.
Oh, it made no sense.
It did make sense, but you get what I'm saying. The soundtrack is just freaking like
I agree with
magical.
you. The exception I had though was that when they were when Forrest Whitaker and his very short sidekick were chasing Dick's ducks through the streets, they played a song with a vocal, one of the vocal songs, not an instrumental, and that didn't seem to fit at all. You want an exciting instrumental here through a chase, not some guy singing about how tough it is on the street to be a hoe or whatever the hell he was singing.
Or Benny Hanna would work just fine too. Or Benny Hill. Benny Hill, is that it?
Yeah.
Benny Hill.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. Otherwise, the soundtrack was perfect. Soundtrack was perfect. Other than that,
Wacky Sax would have been perfect for that.
Yeah, sax, wacky sax, or something that's called.
Yeah,
which is a martial art in Britain.
Okay, so we're seeing all these badass fights, and obviously, like we get to a moment where Ray starts to get his ass kicked by Chong Li. I think if there's any fight that rivals that fight at the end, I'd say it's the fight what I call him Sumo Guy versus Frank. I thought that was a badass fight between Frank and Sumo Guy. Because you see him like, oh crap, this is a bigger guy I'm not used to. He's kind of out of his element with him. So you see him, he has to adapt a little bit, and of course he overcomes it. You root for him that much more, like because you see the big guy was kicking ass and taking names early on.
Kicking ass, he squeezed the guy.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, and that was his way of kicking ass.
I'm pretty sure that was
the different styles. Sorry,
I'm pretty sure he was a Mongolian wrestler. It looked like it. And if you have the size, I mean, that's one of the ways that they do the wrestling there. And the other thing is that he's one of the few grapplers in the competition. And to anybody, if you watch mixed martial arts, it's one thing when they start out, but eventually it becomes an inside fight on the ground. And the guy who's better at fighting up really close is generally the one who's going to win. So the danger with that big guy is not only does he have size, that matters, he also is, you really have to take him apart before he can get a hold of you, or he's liable to end it there. And Dukes
I was going to bring that up.
It's amazing.
Well, yeah. So you're talking like Clint's work. I was going to bring it up how like nobody went to the ground in this movie, like because like this was before you had BJJ really come on the scene, with the first UFC. But I actually was a combative instructor when I was in the Army, and the the army combatives is all like the base of it was in BJJ, right? The guy that really like formed the whole the techniques and everything. It had his lineage comes from like oh man, I'm blanking on the freaking name. From the Gracie family. Like his lineage, like he was trained from the Gracie family, and there's a lot of different other elements into it as well. But yeah, watching this and seeing no one ever go to the ground was insane to me. It's like
I didn't know it. You're right. Now they don't.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. No, but once again, it's just funny that you see all the ridiculous of the fight, but you start to feel that tension escalate once it gets to Chong versus Ray. And that's a fight where you think, oh crap, is Ray dead? Like, and obviously you see him at the hospital and he's alive. He's just hurt really bad. Like, but you start to really see the threat that is Chong Li, even though you knew he was gonna win. You knew that was gonna happen, but you feel the impact because he takes he took his bandana from his head. That was like his mark. Like, I got your bandana.
I mean, for him, it was like. By the way, the last thing you want to do if you get like punched in the face, right, and all that shit starts swelling, if you break that orbital bone, you do not blow your nose. I was so worried for Chung Lee because he just got. I'm like, dude, you can't get in the habit of doing that all the time. You're gonna fuck your shit up if somebody hits you. But then he's so amazing, he never got hit. But anyway, by the way, we're skipping a lot though. Like we are the bricks, man. The bricks.
Oh yeah, first time Frank hits the bricks, and then all of a sudden that bottom break. No, dude, badass. So badass.
Well, there's a point though. Now this I don't understand. So they were invited to take part in the tournament. Van Damme and Jackson, Ducks and Jackson. And yet then they had to prove that they were worthy to be there. Well, why would you invite somebody you doubted might be worthy to be there or not? That I don't understand. I mean, apart from the fact I saw in an article about it, someone said, well, it was why did they have to qualify? Well, to pad the running time. So it gives them,
disease.
But why did they have to qualify? I mean, you either invite them or you don't, But
yeah, that's very weird. Like you wait a minute, like couldn't you just be like, show me your invitation that we sent to you, because that's the only way that you would know about this secret tournament that nobody knows about, except for all the like 300 people that dressed in their best suits to come watch or whatever.
That's right.
Like,
they somehow knew where it was when nobody.
They dressed really nice for this occasion. They were top class for this.
We didn't even talk about the third member of the crew.
They knew somebody who knew somebody to get in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How bad does that reporter have to feel? She's like, I fucked so many guys trying to get here.
300 guys.
Yeah. Like there was a fucking not a bulletin board. What's a big billboard outside with an arrow pointing Kumite this way? Damn it!
Why did you just sleep with the inspector? He knew where the place was all along.
Everyone knew where it was except for the reporter, and that's what.
Wow, she almost sounds like a modern day reporter. Not knowing how to do their job.
Yeah. She had more morals than a modern day reporter. She only just slept with them for information.
All right, last thing I'll say about her. I love, because Frank Dukes, he figured this out. Like, oh, she's banging everybody. Because at the end, it was the best way to say goodbye to a one night stand. He goes,
kissed her boyfriend in the hospital in front of her.
Not a hug. Just don't touch me. I've already had my penicillin. I don't know.
Well, he kissed his boyfriend in his hospital bed in front of her. So, told him that he loved him.
Anyways, but by the way, so the third member of this badass crew that they built was their guide. He's like, "Hey, no, I'm here, to guide you guys. I'm a guy, and like he's the exposition king. He explains everything. Okay, this is where we are. This is where we're going.
Right.
Oh yeah, the little guy.
Are you reading my mind? Because I wrote that down here. The little guy is the exposition guy.
Yes.
Yep.
Let me raise you both.
He shows up. He's like, okay, I'm here to explain to the audience what's happening. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to this area. It's a dangerous area in China. You know what I mean? Because by what he's like, oh man, Chung Li, I saw him kill someone. He's very dangerous. You should keep an eye on him. Audience.
Well, and he also turns into the coach by the end. Remember,
right? He told you more.
He's coaching them at the end. Keep your chin up and do this and do this.
Yeah,
Remember the training
he's
you
bet
had
a
when
lot
you
of
were blindfolded.
He's bet a lot of money on Frank by the end, so he wants to make sure Frank wins.
Then he goes from exposition to coaching, tour guide to coach.
Right.
But he had some funny lines. I mean, he was a funny little guy. But, he was actually the AD as well, I think. He was one of the assistant directors. Really? Yeah, he's not really an actor. Well, you could tell that, but, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And he had it was him that said, son of the bitch, which is a great line.
Son of the bitch.
I can't believe no one has gone, okay, USA. I love those moments in these kind of movies where you're like, oh, they just knew this guy, or like they came across this guy and was like, dude, we got to get you in this movie. I don't know how. Just stand here. We'll walk up and you go, okay, USA, and that's it. Like,
that brings me back to what the Islington girl said earlier, much earlier in the chat. She said this was their way of when they hired random people. That was their way of doing diversity hires, but for back then. They would just pick random people and just be like, okay, you'll do. We'll just get you in here. You'll do. It'll work out.
Way to the movie. This way to the
Yeah.
movie.
they would, you know, they're on location filming and they come across this really like unique guy that's like, oh man, dude, we need to do something with you. You know what I mean? And they get him in a lot like what Marlon Brando did for the little fella. Like in The Island of Dr. Monroe.
Oh,
and
right, yeah. That film needed some levity though, didn't it?
Oh, gave him such a big part. And it cut out. I forgot the actor that was supposed to actually have a big chunk of that. The one, like, am I not your son, father? Like the one that goes Cheetah, I think is what. It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's an awesome movie. In the documentary is great.
Oh, that
they did the same thing with They did the same thing with the blind woman in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I think they found her on the way to India to film on location.
I think they found her underneath the director.
In a tragic slip and fall accident.
Oh my God,
I'm pretty sure they were married or together.
Baldwin.
That would explain it. Nepotism.
There were some really interesting looking people in this film. A lot of them must have been the fighters, but you wouldn't have. Like Forrest Whitaker is practically the only recognizable actor.
Yeah.
Never look at the others.
You know,
he wasn't. Yeah, but I'm leaving him aside. It's just all the others. Yeah, Van Damme is Van Damme. I mean, acting is. What does it matter?
It is amazing. Yes, I agree. There's so many great movies. Like, so the dude that gets the gold tooth. We thanks
for the tooth off the mat.
Such a journey that he took us on from that little scene. See, there's no small parts. Like he made that into this whole thing, this whole journey, this growth. You know what I mean? Like you learned so much about him, about his struggles. Like financially and the links that he'll go to support his family, who I'm sure like there are orphans that he adopted.
Tenacity.
Yeah,
he wasn't going to give up on that.
And he was very thorough. He made sure to check to see if it was real gold before he bothered to put it in his pocket. Sure, he could have just put it in real quick and checked it when he got home, but that's not his way.
No,
right.
He put someone else's tooth in his mouth.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
And that the place where the fight takes place, that was called Kowloon Walled City. That was actually built by its residents. That was just an ancient fort that people started building on the spot. And then when they ran out of, so they had these narrow alleyways. We see those, they walk through there. But then when there wasn't any more room within the walls, they built on top. You just built yours on top of somebody else's and figured out how to get up to your apartment. And
that's why in a low budget movie, it was so good to just use that.
Yeah, they went up like 6-7 stories. And it's like you get to the top. I wonder if those suckers swayed in the breeze. But
I could have seen more of it. I'd like to have seen more of that. I mean, that was really interesting to use that real place. All the cabling along the narrow alleyways just lying out there.
Well, that's all
Incredible.
bootleg electricity and phone and all of that. They do that in the favelas in Brazil, and you see those rats' nests of power lines and telephone lines, and it's people just bootlegging off of somebody else's electrical line.
So, just to answer disease, you wouldn't get it if someone had already had the double thing. They wouldn't be able to pass that gold tooth COVID on.
Yeah, unless you get the 2 and then the 4 extra ones, and then you take the daily pill, you'll be good to go, boy.
And then the gold tooth would be fine. You could put it anywhere you like.
So, all right. God, where are we? We went slightly off the rails.
I wanted to touch on some of the things we were kind of skipping over because there are so many great moments. Like even the training, we haven't even talked about. Like the whole first act, the first act is just a flashback, which is kind of weird. But
there's a flashback within a flashback.
Yeah,
with a montage.
Yeah, with the montage.
Yes.
The montage is early in the movie. It's not later in the movie or in the middle. It's at the beginning. The montage.
Yeah, sets it all up, bro. This is how he came to be.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is one of the rare occasions where like they explained why Jean-Claude Van Damme is this American badass but has this accent. They actually explained it because what's his name? His teacher?
Dad or non-dad father figure.
Tanaka.
I think it's Tanaka, isn't it?
Yeah. So Tanaka's like, I almost did that accent. Anyway, he said, I was right into it. He goes, like it's you brought your family to America for a better life as we did, and we should build roots or whatever he said, right? I'm like, oh, so that's why he has an accent, because like in Street Fighter, they never bothered. It would have been fine because he was like in the UN, and then he takes off his sleeve, has a giant American flag. I'm gonna kick your ass so hard. That's another movie we got to do. That one's awesome.
Yes, we will. Oh, you're damn right we will.
But I like the montage. It's not his best training montage. I think Kickboxer outdoes it. I loved his the dude that trained him in Kickboxer.
Mm-hmm.
He just stole every scene he was in. He was magnetic. Some may say. Like he just ate up the scene. But this one, he's very stoic and stuff. I don't think the blindfolding thing was really that difficult. Like if it's a place I'm familiar with, you know what I mean? Like I think I could pour some tea,
Well, did you see the hit coming though? Because remember, obviously I'm sure he could pour the tea, but it's about when the random fist comes your way. Because obviously, what's his face? We're all forgetting his name, but we'll keep calling him father figure for conversation's sake. Yeah, Tanaka. Okay, so now Tanaka's just like what, and then now he's catching it like that. So obviously, and that's like you're thinking in my head. I wonder if that's gonna pay off later.
Oh man, I had no clue. What when Chung-Li throws the crotch salt at him. Oh man, could you? It's one thing to get the salt thrown in your face, but you have to pull it out of your crotch. Like it's
I thought he had his belly
sweating. No, it wasn't in his belly button.
I thought he had like a pouch in the front of his short. It looked like it was like a pouch.
Slid down.
Whatever it was. Whatever it was, he
threw it in his eyes.
Look like right. Imagine getting kicked from someone else's crotch in your eyes.
I was like, oh no! I was like, what? Oh, Jean-Claude, what are you gonna do? You're blind now. How? Oh.
Because the training comes in handy.
Right.
So what he did was he went off and he poured some tea instead of fighting.
How long did it to remember that though?
Oh, dude, that would have been great if because it's muscle memory, right? Like you do something so many times, so his muscle memory would have been, "Where's the tea?" And he would start pouring it, and Chung-Li like,
I see,
and then, break him.
Plan, you rogue.
Nope, here's disease. It wasn't salt; it was a pill.
It could have been a salt pill, though. It could have been salt in the pill.
Right.
Yeah, but would Saul have blinded him like that, or would it? Because was it some kind of a chemical?
Mr. Tickletrap. Yeah, salted ice. I bet his crotch smelled like a whole.
Oh man, and there's baby oil on it and stuff because he's covered in it. Oh, and I don't know what his hygiene is like during this tournament. I don't know what the water pressure.
He's in a tournament filled with sweaty dudes.
Yeah.
You add the the blended testosterone of other dudes into the mixing. You're taking one dude's funk and mixing it with other dudes' funk, and it just makes a funky storm of funk.
There's the point, though. You mentioned dudes. Mad, do you think this fighting would have been better if women had been allowed to participate in this tournament?
Are you wait against men?
Equality would dictate that women are, and we've seen it in movies today, are equally capable of winning such fights.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are they doing it against men? In 1988 in Bloodsport, I would be
they should
all
have
aboard.
been. You see, revisionist progressivism would say that women should have been allowed to participate in this.
Okay.
Why is it only men?
But then that would have been, you could have put Brie Larson in this, and the exact same thing would have happened to her as happened when she went up in the MCU.
Because of the way
she got blasted in the next week.
The only women in that room have either slept their way in there or they're gambling. So, they're not exactly the most morally.
Trust me, those chicks that were gambling, they fucked their way in there too.
No.
It may have been sooner. You know what I mean? Like,
for these.
Listen, well, so I was gonna make a whole I don't know what the shower the water pressure is at the hotel, but Chung Lee, come on, you're in Hong Kong, and you're in a bad part of Hong Kong. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get fully cleaned off. There's gonna be some funk on that salt. That's all I wanted to say. Now then, about the women. They were going to do a remake of this movie. I don't know if they're still planning on it. It was going to be Lady Bloodsport is what it was going to be called.
Yeah, I can imagine what they're doing in it then.
I don't know if it's still going through, but I feel like that is a
Bloodsport.
I think they're doing it on purpose because there's no way people aren't going to do memes of minstrel jokes with Lady Bloodsport. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's
instead of destroying a what was it called? What's his face? Chong Li when he destroyed what is it called to make into powder or salt. It said throw a tampon in their face or something. You use tampon in their face. It would just be really.
There is a movie from 2016 called Lady Blood Fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's is it. It's not directly related to this, is it?
No, it's not, but I was just kind of looking it up, and it came in.
Oh, Lady Bloodsport sounds wrong.
It sounds accurate.
Sounds like 2016. It sounds like 2016 was a banner year for movies with female casts. I mean, we had Ghostbusters 2016.
They said it happened already. He said they haven't called Lady Bloodsport already, and then D-Bot said. Lady Bloodsport starring Melissa McCarthy. Oh God!
Yeah, see, she used the squashing people to death fighting style.
Oh yeah. No, she was the Mongolian guy. Yeah,
she was the Mongolian wrestler. Yeah.
Oh,
but
they
by
were
the way,
definitely giving her blue hair in this one with that scene.
Lady Bloodsport is such a setup. It is the equivalent of a FBI agent being like, "Hey, no, dude, we should do this. Totally, it's gonna be awesome. Trust me, you're not gonna get in trouble. We're all gonna do it together." And then you never see him again. Anyway, it's the equivalent of that. I would not know. They're setting.
All right, David, turn off that scene when he does that and he's just that was what made the montage for me, is seeing him do that because he's obviously you gotta be able to get your way out of this whole trap, and and also one of the trees breaks off.
Yeah, he breaks
he snaps a tree.
Well, no, was it a tree that he was on? Because I thought it was poles with the pulley system broke. He broke the whole
system.
Maybe he broke the whole thing down.
His control over his groin was so good he could break that rope.
I don't honestly, I don't know why he doesn't do more splits. I think he only did it 12 times in this movie, which is low for me.
I never knew he could do that.
There is there's a movie called Girl Bloodsport, but you can't bring that up and look at it on this on live.
Dustin with the save.
Oh, look, it's next stream, so just do it, Dustin. Let's bring it
yeah,
up.
it's fine.
It's his channel, so we're okay.
We'll miss you, bud.
When Matt saw the commercial that Jean-Claude Van Damme did with Volvo, doing the split between the two trucks, he went out and bought two Volvo tractor trailers.
Yeah, and a semi truck. I could only afford one after the Volvos, but yeah, I got that one too. Man, I slid right off my seat when I saw that. Get swoosh.
Wow. Okay. Van Damme was insecure that he started out in the ballet. That's why he did 200 movies where he does the splits no less than twice.
This is true. That ballet training is really good for that stuff. And again, Mrs. Rock fan watching this movie for the first time, she said, "Has that guy ever done ballet?" And I said, "Yeah, he did a lot of ballet."
So, Vasily Lomachenko, who is my favorite modern boxer, he's amazing. Like, oh man, they call him Nomaschenko. He went it was like 4 fights in a row. The guys would not leave the corner. Like they just quit. He's amazing. So he's Ukrainian, right? And what his father did was when he was real young, he started training him in boxing, right? And then he made him stop boxing at like 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there, and put him in Ukrainian traditional dance for years before bringing him back to keep training in boxing. And his footwork is like no other. The way he can just shift around guys and just everything from the way, like once they go into the guard, he uses like a soft jab to cover up that little holding you see, and then he just slides over to the right, to their side, and then when they go to look, he's just pop from different angles. Like I'm a big Vasily Lomachenko fan, but he was like 297-1 as an amateur, by the way, before he ever went into boxing. Multiple champions anyway, but so the whole ballet thing makes a lot of sense how that would translate into martial arts. The way he got into movies, I forgot the producer or whatever, he sees him outside this restaurant, right? Van Damme goes up and he does like a high kick like right at his face, and the guy's like, "You're gonna be in the movies, kid." That is how he got this movie.
No, seriously.
Yes. Yeah. He like tried did a high kick to this dude's face, without hitting him, and the guy was like, "You're in."
See, that's so much better. That's so much better than modern checkbox hiring. Just see some guy do some badass kicking. You're in. That's it. Yep. We don't need to worry about the skill set. You got either the voice like the Arnolds, or you got the cool moves like the Van Dammes, or you could have both like Stallone. You could do both. So, it's that. See, that type of hiring is so much more best because at least you got guys who had charisma. At least you had charismatic leads, and you can also make them likable and they'd be fun, even if their acting was at times choppy.
Who?
Arnold.
Dude. Oh, Arnold. Yeah, I thought you were talking about JCVD. Like, did you see him in Hard Target?
Van Damme is actually a good actor.
Oh, yeah, he nailed that Cajun accent.
Oh,
have you seen Hard Target, dude? It's John Woo.
I've not seen Hard Target. I've not seen Hard Target.
Good movie. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
It is the you're combining John Woo and doves and all with Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to do a Cajun accent with this greasy Jerry curl looking thing. Like this mullet, like it is such a good movie.
Yeah, the hair is fantastic in that. I mean, just
so
those long.
So he got that. The locks days of Van Damme. Okay,
great, yeah.
Maybe I have seen it. Maybe I've not. I'll have to recheck. But
JCVD was like, down here in the bayou,
That's right.
Okay.
It sounds like Hercule Poirot trying to do
all right, let's bring this up. Earlier we were talking about the budget here, this is on a $2 million budget back in the 80s, and it made over 50 million. You want to talk about like nowadays? That probably would be in like what 10 million today to make it, maybe if this came out.
I don't know. It depends on who makes it. If Saban or Saban, whoever that is, like they do they have a lot of good movies, by the way, that they've been putting out. But I think they would have it as lower budget, because you don't see any mid-level, like mid-budgeted movies anymore, right? It's either blockbusters or Blumhouse, basically.
But hypothetically speaking, if we're like in our heads, like adjusting for inflation is what I'm leading with. So okay,
you should be able to find that.
I've not.
I got it. I'm looking.
Okay, get the numbers, but yeah, so it probably maybe around 10 million. Maybe I know D-Bud's usually good with the numbers if he's in the chat. And that probably be like maybe 80 to 100 million worldwide nowadays. So yeah, this would have been considered a very super profitable movie. And once again, when you shows you got another movie on a very limited number, and they make all this money back. They're actually making a lot of money back.
Money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like no
it would
one
be about
loses
4
from
million
this.
today. 4 million some
Okay,
change, about
4 million.
4.6.
I
Yeah.
overestimated.
Well, also prices are going to be higher as well, though. So that 4.6 may not stretch as much. You know what I mean? Like it, especially kind of now. Like you can't buy quite as much with as you know what I mean. Like you could buy a lot more back then than you could now.
Yeah,
with the same amount of money.
Oh yeah, and I mean, as this thing say earlier, this is a big deal on the VHS format. So when VHS was all the rage, Bloodsport was one of those big cassette tapes you just had to own. So I mean, and rightfully so. I'm sure my dad owned it amongst all these great flicks. And here's the subject of debate here, because we were saying in the chat about being comparable to Street Fighter, or how it's billed as a true story, but probably isn't. The real life Frank Dux, whose
journalism today, dude.
Yeah, right. Whose victory at the underground Cubite supposedly inspired Bloodsport was probably lying about his exploits. That's a conclusion the LA Times arrived at after an investigation to his claims just a couple months after the movie hit theaters. We have no recollection of such a tournament. One martial arts expert told the paper, "We would know. No, never. It can't happen."
Real quick,
they're going to admit to an underground tournament.
Right? Yeah. Hey, guy, this thing's a secret.
That's right. That's why it's called a secret. Yeah.
Oh, you want to know about this secret tournament I'm not supposed to talk about? Yeah, it's real. I'll tell you everything about it. That Frank Dukes, man, Kumite. I'm like, no, that's not how these work.
No, that's good. So that's when we know it truly was based on true story, because it wasn't real, guys. Was it? And here you go, Mad. JCVD literally kicked his way into the role.
Yeah. So don't make up these things.
He got paid peanuts for the movie, saying although the movie made a ton of money, he didn't see much of it. He only made $25, all of which he earned in his montage alone. Wow.
By the way, he just needed a new agent at that point. I think the movie I first saw him in before this one was Black Eagle. I think he was a bad guy, and I forgot who it starred. It was somebody like I forgot who it was, but yeah, he dies in it. I think he gets on a boat. I don't know. It's been so long. I just thought about it right now, but anyway.
No, it's all good. I like this one, because this one I did not know about. Bolo Young, who's Chong Li. He was all buddy with the man himself, the legend. Like, holy crap! And I know I remember when I had seen him, like when I was a kid for the first time watching this, but I'm like, I feel like I've seen him somewhere. Maybe I saw him like some photo of Bruce Lee or something, because he does have a very distinct look to him.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
He looks like he would have been even like Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat video games. He's got that hairstyle that Liu Kang has. Like, I remember getting a little bit of a Liu Kang vibe, because that was obviously the prime of the Mortal Kombat movies, and so maybe that's why I got the Liu Kang vibe.
Liu Kang.
He was in a movie with Bruce Lee.
Chung Lu.
I'm trying to find
Lee?
it. Chung Li was in a movie. Is in one of Bruce Lee's last movies. Enter the Dragon.
Oh, wasn't that
Bolo in Enter the Dragon?
Oh,
1973. So
he got gigantic for Bloodsport. He got gigantic.
He did.
Antibiotic steroids really started picking up by the time this one started. But he has a presence, though. Like whenever he's like, you cannot take your eyes off him. You know what I mean? He's very intimidating. But like he has like kind of he's a little like not charismatic, but like you know what I mean? Like
he's engaging. Okay. He's engaging to watch. You want to see what he's gonna say or do next, because when he steps into the you can't say the ring or the dojo, whatever you want to call it. Let's just say he gets into
on the mat.
Yeah, on the mat. When he gets on the mat, ready to fight, you're like, oh, what's this guy gonna do next? He brings you that vibe, like he's gonna do something bad, but you have to watch, because he's intriguing like that. And he seldomly speaks, but when he speaks, it's impactful too.
I didn't think he was going to speak at all, and then right at the end,
here we go.
Are they abled in this movie?
Yeah, would be around 115 million today. Wow, so once again, it's still been
and that's before VHS sales, etc., isn't it?
Yeah,
isn't that just the box office?
I think this is the box office. Who? What? I don't know which one you're talking about now. If you think that made it seem like I was attracted to a man, you should have been here for those smooth baby buns conversation. Real quick, I was gonna say, like, I just wanted to bring it because it makes no sense, right? So these refs that are out there with them on the Kumate, the mat. Anyway, what is their purpose other than just like the listen for? I forgot what the I quit thing is. What is it? What do you say if you quit? If you surrender?
I couldn't even. I still can't.
Mate. No, Mate.
Mate. Yeah. Like what are the reason? Because it's no holds barred. Like no holds barred. Like you could apparently kill people. Like what is his purpose to be out there?
It was the WWE version of the I Quit match. That's what it was.
I think his primary role is to determine whether an unconscious fighter is unconscious and call the match that way. No, you're awake. Come on, get up.
And as we were talking about Street Fighter, well, looks like Mortal Kombat as well, as Ed Boon and John Tobias, the creators of legendary video game Mortal Kombat, were inspired in part by Bloodsport. In fact, Midway Games attempted to license Van Damme's image for the game. I remember hearing about that. I do remember hearing about that. When that fell through, Jean-Claude became Johnny Cage. Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Dude, he would have been so cool as Johnny Cage.
Oh my God, right? Like, seriously, like, he would rock the shades better. He would rock the do better. Well, because I think Cage had like a flat top going on, like a regular brown flat top going on.
No, I don't know. No, I think. Wait, are you mixing them up with Gal? Because Johnny Cage didn't have it. He had like the 90s like full hair. He had a lot of full body to that hair that he had.
I guess sure. Maybe I must be right. Seriously,
I'll look him up.
And there wasn't a single stunt man in the flick. Say once again, way back when, how the times have changed. Frank Dux told BuzzFeed that the budget didn't allow for stuntmen to be killed. Imagine this whole guy. It would have been fine.
Wait, what?
They didn't have the budget to allow for stuntmen to be canceled procedures. Make sure that everyone in the movie could take a punch. Many of these guys had professional dance backgrounds. Can you imagine someone got like?
You could tell that because the choreography of some of them was, you could tell they were holding back just that little bit.
I could
quite rightly because they weren't stuntmen.
No, man, they made contact every time.
Dude. Seriously, can you imagine if someone messed some shit up really badly? This whole thing.
They were in Kowloon. They could have just hidden them in some alleyway and left the body there. Nobody would have known. Police weren't there.
And then, as Billy May said, but wait, there's more. There are even other martial arts. Among the pro fighters in Bloodsport are Mikkel Kissy, a kickboxer who played the fighter Swan Paredes, and Paulo Tocha, a Muay Thai expert who played Paco.
Yeah, that's the guy we were arguing over, Paco.
Paco.
His style, he had a particular style that looked real and effective and looked like what you would see today in MMA, or more the progenitor of that. So yeah, that's the guy we were talking about, Paco, Paulo.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, that's good to know because that's such a huge. No, he did look good, but it's such a giant risk taking those like stunts. Like, and it's a good thing they sought out people like this who they knew would be more cut out for this.
Well, yeah, but didn't it say it's just because they couldn't afford stuntmen? Like,
yeah, they just killed extras. Killed extras.
I thought it was like a choice. Like, no, we wanted to look real, so we had we just couldn't afford them. So we had one guy, he called another guy, and another guy.
Nah, they chose not to have enough money. That was a choice.
Sure. Let's save some money. We don't gotta worry about the stunt guy. We'll just take a chance, and we're gonna hope for the best, everyone.
Next, drag that one away. Next.
See, I was almost dead on like 90s.
No, look at an image from Midway. Look at an image from Midway.
I thought we were talking about the movie because he was going to be Johnny Cage in the movie.
I can see what you're saying. Okay, all right. Since you're on that, well, I'll answer to. Yeah, I can see where. Yeah, I can see the. I was going to say the Johnny Cage, the Jean-Claude Van Damme of it. I could see that.
Oh yeah, he would be great.
I can concede to that.
Johnny Cage in that movie steals the Van Damme nut shot.
And look, both fighters would go on to appear with Sir Van Damme in Kickboxer. And then number 8, Donald Trump loves it. I should read this in the voice. I'm going to read the voice. He brought along Michael, a recent release, but 20 minutes after popping into the VCR, he got bored and switched to an old favorite, a Jean-Claude Van Damme slugfest called Bloodsport, which he pronounced an incredible, fantastic movie by saying to his son the task of fast-forwarding through all the plot Trump's goal being to get this 2-hour movie down to 45 minutes. He eliminated any lows between the nosy hammering, kidney tenderizing, and shin whacking.
If only it had gorillas in it, it would be perfect.
I love that, man. But like, by the way, this movie did not feel 2 hours. Like, it has such a great pace to it because, like, the characters. Was it only 90?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Well, I just saw that it said 2 hours. I was just gonna, I went on the word of the president. Sorry, my bad.
He'll mean tweet about you later.
He misquoted me. I never said 2 hours.
I never said 2 hours. I said 1 hour and 30.
Yep.
Gonna be great. All right.
That's okay.
But that's okay. It's cool. Donald Gibb, who plays Ray Jackson. Oh, I did not know he's an NFL player.
Oh, Org, not Booger. Why do I keep calling him Booger?
I was going to correct you, but I don't want to be like a dick about it.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have corrected him.
Instead, you just let me keep doing it for the entire stream.
Yeah,
so
that
everybody
was much more fun, man.
Well, you know what?
I called him Booger. I was like, well, I mean, he's really he's really ogre, but whatever.
There you go. There's your tomahawk chop.
Right.
I'm doing it just because I can. Nerds, D-Bud. Thanks for the update, D-Bud.
Going on? That's my. I had no idea.
I forgot about until I saw Razor Fist's video this morning about the tomahawk chop, and that was absolutely fantastic.
They're about to be banned.
Yeah, and Razor Fist, of course, he lays the smackdown on it about the whole subject matter. But anyways, let's carry on about all this spiel. Donald Gibb provides some comic relief in blood. Dude, no, he is the toxic one in this movie.
He does have the jokes, though. He does make a lot of funny one-liners.
Name 15 things, Nick, that he did that was toxic.
Where does 15 have to come in order to be toxic? It has to be 15.
Yeah, well, 15 different toxic things. Yeah, that feels fair.
Let's see. Hitting on the girl at the bus.
Very politely, never even made contact with her.
Blood got all over his body, didn't clean it off.
We already went over that. That was safety precautions because remember, you got people putting teeth in their own mouth. This is why he was safe to do it, because they have so many precautions when it comes to the health and safety of these fighters. This isn't.
He was the loud and belligerent one as well, too. So he was toxic. I don't need to name 15 ways, but you can say generally speaking, yes, I can't. You're right. I don't need 15 of them, though.
He's not toxic.
I don't need 15. I disagree, but I'll let you live with that.
Anything toxic was because of a head injury that he sustained in the tournament.
He looked like a washed-up wrestler. How did he get invited to this thing?
He did.
No one knows.
And he got an invite, yeah.
Yeah, he showed up and broke a brick.
How do you afford to get
that's
there?
the thing. They test Frank Dukes, but they don't
look at this line.
Jackson.
Dude, here you go. Here's a nerd. Need a few scars on my face. Chicks dig scars. So he's got the quote. So yes.
What do you? Whoa! He's like, no, listen. I want to provide women with what they want. I'm about what they want, and I like that's not toxic at all. He's like, no, I want to be a better person for whatever lovely woman that I am lucky enough to end up with. Apparently, it's not the one on this bus, but maybe down the road it'll be another one.
Oh, down the road there will definitely be another one.
There's
another bus,
many buses here.
Another bus. Oh my god!
He spent all his free time, instead of training, he spent all his free time riding around on the bus looking for her.
All right,
It was a Lost Connection.
Actually, Mr. Tickle Trunk makes a point. Who invited this mad guy? Mad, you've been invited, but you have to prove your worth to be on this stream.
We need 15 reasons.
I mean, I'm the co-host.
Give me 15 reasons that you should be on this.
I'm the co-host.
That's not a reason.
Two, the
Name 15 reasons.
Handy Randy story. Like, I can keep going.
So this article came out in 2018, and the remake was announced in 2011.
Was it the Lady Bloodsport?
Yeah, let's see if this. We'll look in here and say Philip Noyce to remake Bloodsport, and let's see who they are. And the last film director. So I'm trying to see if they had anything about who they wanted to cast here, and who will play the Bolo Young role. It's not just anyone who can make his pecs dance like that. Okay, you're not answering the question, bro.
We can't see it, by the way.
Okay, well,
because you went to a link. I was just letting you know.
Oh, sorry. I gotta get out of this one. So let me get to it. All right, Philip Noyce. Here we go.
You know what, Tickle Trunk? I'll text my girlfriend right now, see if we have a brick somewhere, and I'll do it on here.
The bottom brick.
I got to update, guys. We don't have.
Yeah.
Update, guys. She said we don't have any bricks. Damn.
And I like how like that brick exploded, like it had some like a charge on it.
A charge of awesomeness. Badassery. What do you?
Oh, let's see what they wanted to do. The film would have felt an American who goes to Brazil to recover from the violence he has experienced in Afghanistan, who gets involved in a martial arts contest. Robert Marc came in, will write, and that's probably a good thing. Probably not.
How many Gracies would be in that movie?
What's that?
How many Gracies would they have had in that movie?
Oh, in 2011? Man, it would make it a lot different, huh? Like, it would be an entirely different movie if it's done today, because, like, I think people, they like, I think the majority of people, for the most part, like, understand, oh, okay, so fighting is not like what we saw in these movies where everyone stands and kicks, because that's such a bad idea to kick in any type of fight. You know what I mean? Like, outside of, professional, like, organized shit. But yeah, don't ever try to kick a guy in the face in a bar. It's not going to go well for you. But I think people now expect these things. Like, so if you see a lot of things like The Raid, man, there's a lot of stuff that goes to the ground in their movies. With some of the best fight scenes that are out there is from those guys from The Raid. But yeah, even them, like, there's a lot of ground stuff that go on the ground. It's not these movies where, like, you can stand there, exchange kicks and nut punches.
And you can try. How many times did these people turn their backs on their opponent?
A lot.
A lot.
So sometimes that can just be to try to confuse your opponent. Like, whoa, why did he do that? That was such a dumb choice for him to do. Now I don't know how to react. He got me. Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, kicks are gay and will break your shins. All right. Well, this, we get through the turn. We'll fast forward a little bit since we are on a time crunch. But we go through a lot of badass fights. We get the music. We see the non-organized fight, because obviously this thing's way out of whack. Like, people are fighting like more fights than others. Even not just because they're just fighting like way more than they should be, because it doesn't affect a proper term bracket, but you don't care because you're just going with the flow of the movie. You're invested in the badassery going on. How about that guy with the weird like the spidery walk? I call it the spider walk. Remember who do the little leaps? Yeah, the monkey. Yeah. I call it the spidery thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably a better term to use with
the monkey. Yeah, probably. Yeah, monkey guy. The spider. The spider sumo guy, and then you had that tall guy who I think he had like the flat back. He looked like he may have been like Jamaican, like super skinny.
Right.
Yeah.
Who fought Van Damme?
To be fair, the spider guy, when you saw him at the beginning of the movie at home, was
in a tree
doing
chopping coconuts as
that
one
was
would.
his style.
Yeah.
And it was his chosen style.
Yeah, for sure. And I love how all the styles like really correlate to like where they're from. You know, I love that about these movies. Like you see the same thing in The Quest. Like there's always a theme to the guy.
Oh, I know, right? Well,
it.
once again, like WWE, they all had their own like little shtick going on, their own little persona going on, and obviously Chong Li, he was just the big, scary, like, what's this guy gonna do next type of guy? He had an aura of mystery to him. So
his thing was the pecs, the boogers.
Oh yeah.
Guys used to do that peck thing on variety TV shows,
but
they did it to music, dude.
Lex Luger is all about that.
They used to do that in the old days.
I like the French savate, which is a French kickboxing, and he's the one that basically he and Van Damme traded kicks to the ribs, one after another.
Oh yeah.
Van Damme just kicked him off his feet. But if you see Kiss of the Dragon with Jet Li, the two blonde twins, the great big blonde twins, are both savate experts. So they do almost all of their fighting with their feet. But if you watch that, most of the time they kick at or below the waist.
Yeah,
there aren't many high kicks. As Mad said, that's not a good idea in a real fight. But yes, savate is, and I just remember when I first heard about it and saw it in this, it was like, how did the French come up with a kickboxing martial art?
Well, the French would invent a martial art that involved their legs, but I would imagine it would be them running away from the fight.
Yes,
that would be more the French style.
I would have thought that the French martial art would have been the 100-meter dash,
running away. Yes, right? I surrender and running away. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, by the way, the whole bar thing, like I would not recommend even throwing like a calf. Like a kick, like leg kick, you know what I mean? Like, because one, I don't know what kind of shoes you wear at the bar, but it may be a little slippery. There's so many different elements and factors that go into like how you're going to bust your head open hitting the ground because you tried to do some dumb kick you saw in UFC 284 or whatever. You know, you can get your ass whooped.
The 8 beers wouldn't help either.
You notice when the guys would fight on the mat too, there was a lot of times they would fall, like they'd probably just collapse on outside the mat. Like I wonder, I'm like, man, well, that had to have been a hard fall for a lot of those guys.
No, they had mats down. Come on,
outside of the mat, outside of the mat. You think so?
Well, for the shot, yeah, they're not
going for the shot, yeah. But I'm talking about in the storyline of the movie. I'm not talking about real life, man.
I really like this was a Alec Baldwin thing. So go on.
I think we're avoiding the large grey animal in the room, which is it really fair of Ducks to punch a guy in the nuts to win the fight?
Hey, no holds barred.
Why didn't anybody else do that in the fighting then?
Because they couldn't do the splits.
That's right.
That's true.
They couldn't get low enough. Yeah. They couldn't get low enough to punch up.
That was a bit of an unfair blow, you know? I mean, the unkindest cut of all, almost.
Wait a minute. There are only unfair blows in a fight that has rules about what you are and aren't allowed to do.
Well, I guess so, you know.
Pretty much doesn't. You know.
Well, even things with no rules, there's still isn't there still fighting etiquette?
It's mostly the beginning and the end of the fight.
Yeah.
It's how does it start and how does it end? And if the other person is submitted and you hit him afterwards, that's going to get you in trouble with the judges.
Well,
I mean, I didn't see him hitting him in the dick, it looked like he hit him in the taint.
Dick punches.
He knocked him out what hit him in the taint.
I'm pretty sure that was.
Thick thighs save lives. Jack of all casuals. I agree with Soul Assassin. I mean, that one guy Chong Li faced in what was the semifinals, he killed the guy because remember what do you call him, a referee? What do they call him in martial arts? The referee, or is it just referee?
Yeah. It's just referee.
But remember when Chong Li was kind of mad that the referee guy would raise his arm, to declare him victor? He was kind of mad about it.
Absurd.
Yeah, it's
one of the
absurd.
most disgraceful things I've ever seen in sports. You're not going to recognize and acknowledge this champion. My
This
God,
champion that just killed the guy. Because the guy obviously was just like, you killed him. You killed him.
He's not a medical expert. We don't know if that guy died. He could have. I never saw an autopsy report on that guy.
Death is relative.
Yeah,
the three judges actually stand up and turn around when after.
Relative.
That's how disgusted they were with that ref. They couldn't even look at that ref after that.
Oh, come on, Matt. Just be serious for one moment. No, that was a violation of the rules because he'd already submitted, and it just shows you that yes, there are rules, and he violated one of them. But they let him go on to the final
what
anyway.
What sanction did they do because he violated?
Exactly, they didn't do anything.
He felt intimidated by Chong.
They looked disapprovingly at him.
I love that this is the moment you think has to be serious about. Like, no, come on, man. That was clearly against the.
If I was the dead guy, I'd probably prefer that to being punched in the nuts by Van Damme, though. So death was probably preferable.
Oh man, what I would give to be punched in the nuts, but
no one bit anybody's ear.
Think of it as a caress, man, a caress.
Oh man, and his tidy maroonies doing the splits.
But no, we finally get to of course, once they realize, oh man, this Chung Lee guy means serious business, and the lady tries to ruin everything by reporting it. Oh my God, are you kidding me? We want to see the good stuff, and you're taking it away from us?
Hey, you know why? You know why Frank Dukes, the real Frank Dukes, has been discredited? Is because of reporters like her who would rather just fuck their way into this story and just tell everyone about it and ruin the good times of men.
Sensationalize his real life story than believe the truth.
You know what it is women invading the spaces of men's space. You know what I mean? Because that is where we like to interact with other men and bond over murder and blood
and nut shots
and crushed testicles.
But no. If you don't invite this third wave feminist, now she's just going to tell everyone about it. What a bitch.
She's going to talk about when you tweeted about it 12 years ago.
Third wave feminist is a woman that doesn't want to be abducted in a bar by a Middle Eastern looking guy or Russian guy.
The thing is who's she getting the story for? Who actually would care about the story?
I mean,
I'd be very interested in the story. But that's just me.
There was Kumagate.
Mad says is that we know and knows full well he slept his way to co-host.
Yeah, but we kept
quiet. Disease, I'm willing to believe that disease. I think that's true.
We kept it quiet.
He only slept with himself because nobody else would stoop that low.
Oh yeah, no. Oh boy, and let me tell you, I was rough.
You were rough.
Yeah,
you didn't go easy on yourself.
Oh yeah. That Cosby special drink I had did not work as well as I thought it was going to.
When you woke up, you had some questions.
I woke up, I was like, I don't know what to do now. Like, did I? Did I not? Who knows?
You looked in the mirror and you asked yourself some pretty tough questions.
Very tough questions, dude. Had a long conversation. Like, what did you put in my drink? You know what I put in your drink. You should have expected it with what you were wearing.
Oh, he got 64 flavors.
Did you see the? Hold on. Did you see Soul Assassin?
Let me go back to Soul Assassin.
Yeah, before there was Gamer.
Kumite.
It's the same. It's almost the same.
I think that one. I think that wins tonight. That was a good one.
A good one. Yeah.
You guys are killing me in the chat with these comments. Thank you. Soul Assassin and Disease are having a joyride with these things. But okay. Obviously, the ladies' attempt backfires. Thankfully, we get the fight. I'm so glad. That kind of worries me. Like she could have ruined the movie.
Everything. She already ruined his penis for all the other ladies. Rubbing her.
Well, we don't actually know they slept with each other.
There's no indication. Okay. She was wearing clothes.
That's right, and they were both. They weren't even in the bed together.
Okay, it's true. We didn't.
She slept on the floor naked.
He just stood there all night with his legs up on the kitchen
Yeah.
cabinets.
As real men do.
As
Yeah,
you do,
but-
yes.
Yeah, like, and all nice. He's like, please give me that baby soft dick. And he's
Look
like,
at this,
no,
look at this.
I'm doing my splits. I have a fit tomorrow. Nope, I did not tell you this.
It's tough to do a Belgian accent, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's very hard. You have to do Hercule Poirot.
Because you hear it so often.
Yeah, Jackson had that. Was when Jackson sees him in the hotel and he's doing the splits on the chairs, isn't he say something like, "Yeah, you might want to have kids one day."
Yeah.
Careful. What's that ripping sound?
I feel like it'd be more like taint injury stuff, not balls. You know what I mean? Other than this slapping on the ground, because he goes so fast with those splits. You know, there's a little bounce to it. Like, that's why he screams so long, because not only is he he's like, my nuts gets bounced off the mat when I did these splits, so it's the double pain there. It's almost really nice of him, like, for him to, like, hey, he's very empathetic. He's like, you know what? You're not going to be the only one in pain, because my giant balls are going to bounce off this mat when I hit you. So just know that I get it. I understand. I mean, the guy is just amazing. Like, as far as human beings go on planet Earth, it's like Jesus. Man, who would I put?
Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Well, Chuck's above anything. I mean, he's in his own universe. He is his own universe.
Chuck Norris transcends everything.
That's right.
Yep.
JCVD.
Chuck Norris's driver's license photo looks amazing. When everyone else's looks like shit, his looks amazing because he's Chuck Norris.
He's both a toxic male and the perfect feminist, all in one.
And if he was a physicist, he would be the Schrodinger's cat. He would be both alive and dead at the same time.
Yeah.
He would be.
And in the Star Wars universe, he'd bring balance to the Force.
He did.
He would be the Force.
He gave the radioactive spider powers. He bit the spider.
The Force started because here's how amazing Chuck Norris is. He was donating blood, and that's how the midichlorians started getting into other people, was from him. He is the source of the midichlorians.
Okay. So, anyways, back to the final fight. No, that was absolutely worth it. That was totally worth getting into Chuck Norris, but that final fight, that had me like all like invested, because I was just like, oh, this is it. It's just like, because you see, like, for the most part, he's kind of kicking Chung Lee's ass, like, early on. He's sticking it to him, that to a point where, like, to me, like, as I watch this, I'm like, oh no, Chung Lee trying to fortify the fight. Like, that's what I saw when he was digging through his ball sack, trying to get that powder stuff off. I'm like, oh, he wants to fortify the fight. And I remember when I was a kid, I thought, isn't that illegal? Because I didn't know better that was, anything goes. I just thought, oh, hey, he's cheating. He can't do that. Why isn't the referee not doing shit about it? And at the time, I had forgotten, like, he had learned stuff early on in the movie because of the montage. So just to me, I'm like, oh, crap. He's doomed. This movie's over. Like, we're all fucked. So, and then all of a sudden, like, it just kind of all comes together because he's kind of sitting there on the mat. You think, man, Chung Lee has all this time to strike back at him while he's thinking about his past. Thinking about his early montage.
In my head, I want it to happen in real time. Like, everyone there, and Chung Lee just sit there, and he's like, and you just sit there in real time. He thinks about the memory. So everyone's like, what's happening? Like, what do we do?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, you're thinking, man, a lot of time must have passed. Chung Lee, or did Chung Lee just like look at his watch and say, all right, what time is it? Hey, can I get a bucket, spill out some blood? Well, this is while he's contemplating his montage from
even that German way back in the day, he liked dogs. No one's pure evil. You know what I mean? Like, he gave him time to have his flashback, because he wanted it to be a fair fight. And he knew if he allowed him time to remember his training, then it would be equal.
It's like,
and
okay,
that's the only, you know,
he needed to give the fight extra meaning. He needed to help him give the fight extra meaning.
John Lee was having a bit of showmanship there, playing to the crowd.
True. Yeah,
Just letting it build up before he waiting for the kill.
It's one of the most important things in fights is you got to have a villain. That's why Floyd Mayweather Jr. did such a great job playing the villain, because that's what brings people out. That's all Chung Lee. Chung Lee's honorable as shit. I still don't think that guy's dead. By the way, again, before this one, he was the first one to lobby to get instant replay into Kumite in the first place. If they had instant replay, we wouldn't have these problems. And again, it goes back to the referee, who is shit. And everyone knows it, even the judges.
So we have an officiating problem.
Sure, yeah, we definitely had an officiating issue. Chuck Norris passed some sons at both Thanos and the Avengers fought for them. Can you imagine Chuck Norris with the Infinity Gauntlet? Someone had to have made the photo online. Someone definitely
So
has.
the Infinity Stones are just like, where they were just kidney stones that Chuck Norris passed?
Oh, I always thought they were just freckles that he scratched off one day.
That
was right off the top of my head.
No, it was beautiful.
Time waits for no man unless that man is Chuck Norris.
It's funny, like Chuck Norris has freckles. That man has perfect skin. I assume you can't see a lot of it under the beard, but
anyways, yes, the fight happens. So like Chung Lee, he lets him go through the motions, lets him get it together, so he can give the fight extra weight and depth and meaning.
Good sports.
And then he's like, okay, now's the time to strike, because I think he's coming to his senses. So maybe I should start to hit him so I can make this fight look viable. And then he goes to a strike, and then Frank catches it. He's like, what? And before you know it, he starts kicking his ass blindly like he's Daredevil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, Daredevil was based on Frank Dukes.
Duke's Devil.
Yeah, that's what it was originally called. 70s knows. Duke's Devil. But they're like, oh no, copyright or whatever, so they changed it. Never gave Frank any credit. Made him Catholic when everyone knows Frank's was a good Baptist boy. Anyway, so what? Oh, I forgot what my original fucking joke was. I was thinking of a whole different one.
You've talked yourself out of that one.
Yeah, I did. What the fuck was that? Oh, no, that wasn't it.
No, it's okay. You see him, he starts kicking his ass. He gets the fight. But most importantly, he gets the bandana from Chung Lee's leg.
Yeah, to bring it back to his lover, to his friend, to his best bud.
To his lover.
Yes, to his new lover.
Bro love.
That band that was used as a thong on their first date.
As long as you don't tell people you enjoy it, it's not gay. So I think what a lot of people miss is that before, like after he gave him the time to recover or whatever, like he kind of whispered, like, "You're good to go now, right?" And all, yeah, we got it.
Okay, we got this. Okay, let's keep the show going.
Cut. Yeah, that's the director's cut. Kind of like when Floyd Mayweather fought that YouTube guy and knocked him out, but held his giant ass up because they promised not to knock. Well, Floyd promised not to knock him out, so he held him the fuck up until he got like okay a little bit more. But yeah,
all right,
the same thing, bro. Same thing.
No, you're right. So the fight happens. All of a sudden, the match is over. Then you see him going to visit his buddy at the hospital. Say, yeah, get ready for me, man. When I'm back on my feet, type of spiel. Like, no. I'm going to come back and I'm going to start winning some fights. And then all of a sudden he takes off his plane back to America. And you see like the girl does his. And then you see all those statistics pop up too. Like
amazing. The greatest Kumite heavyweight of all time.
That's not to mention all the assassinations he did secretly.
Oh, yeah. He was there for a secret mission. He was just too good. He went to lose, but he's so great. He couldn't even do that.
No, couldn't even do that. He's just too good. So he
failed at losing. Yeah. He failed at losing.
Well, he was ahead, never tasted defeat. Couldn't even know it if he tried. Couldn't know defeat. He was just not capable of it. And then the movie's credits rolled, and I guess it had to end. And that's where we got to the point where Mr. Richard will get to rate this movie in toxicity and in greatness and in handy randies.
Oh, in toxicity, this gets an 8 out of 10.
Alright.
In greatness, this is a 9 at least,
Alright.
maybe a 9.5. And there's no way I can rate this for Handy Randy's. I'm not sure what the standard is.
I don't know. Matt can define what the standard is for a handy.
I mean, if it replaces Die Hard, there was no rhyme or reason to the Die Hard rating either. So,
Okay.
I'm lost. How many ratings have we
This
got?
gets a 6.5 Handy Randy's.
okay, so no, you did it wrong. He only had 2 hands. Like, at least put some effort into. Come on,
You
it's
just
either
said
1 or 2.
there's no rhyme or reason.
Well, within reason. I mean, he did only have
I
2
see.
hands.
There's no rhyme, but it's got to be within reason.
Yeah.
It's a 1.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So 1 handy for Randy. All right. 70s. Toxicity, greatness, and then handies.
Well, just before we do that, there is a scene that I noticed last night which showed some of the quite subtle humour in this occasionally, where Forrest Whitaker and his sidekick are eating in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's quite a posh restaurant by the looks of it, by the waterside, etc.
Yeah.
And they're eating away, and it looks like absolute crap. And the inspector comes up, and they go, "Inspector, join us." He says, "Oh no, I wouldn't eat here. He's a local. You should always trust the locals." And then they throw the thing to the dog, and he won't eat it. And the tourist rip-off restaurant.
Well, okay, so the
that's-
dog thing. Look, we don't eat our own kind either, you know. Anyways,
true. I thought it was telling when the inspector said, "Oh, I won't eat here. I wouldn't eat here."
it's a good word.
So where do we start? Toxicity?
Yes.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Same as Red Shirt, I think. That's an 8 for toxicity.
Yeah.
For greatness, 8.5.
8.5
Out of 10. And the Handy Randy, I think I'd give a full fist in the groin. Handy Randy.
Wait, you gave this movie an 8 out of 10
For toxicity.
Oh, okay.
8.5 for greatness.
All right,
I
chat.
can't give everything 10. I can't give everything 10. I mean, you got.
I've never given anything a 10. I've never given anything a 10. Highest I've gone is like 9.6.
Right.
Chat, what
and
is
you'll
the
have
chat?
your opportunity any second there.
I want the chat to rate this movie 1 to 10 in toxicity. I want the chat to rate it 1 to 10. And I'm going to Dustin do all his ratings. Toxicity, greatness, and handies.
All right. So I think toxicity, we're going to have to go with an 8.
All right.
Greatness, I think 9.2.
Ooh.
And then Handy Randy's, it gets 5 Handy Randy's.
Woo! Busy man
Because,
there.
you know, there's a lot of room in there for Handy Randy's.
Especially with the small hand. Yeah, you can fit even more.
See, if Handy Randy had done that punch, he might have ended up going in the wrong area.
Okay, see, now you're making me miss him. No, so... Oh, man, if he could just wiggle them just a little bit while he's up there,
Wiggle
that
the
would be
handies?
something.
Debug gives it the full fist of the handies. Debug gives it the full fist. Soul Assassin says toxicity minus report 8.5 and 5 handy randies. Ginger Ninja at 6.9 out of 10 for toxicity, 9.6 out for the greatness scale. Awesome. Mad Martigan, what are your scores?
So on Toxic, everyone here is wrong. I'm going to give it like a 0.5 for toxicity, right? And that's just because of the Saudi Arabian, Asian, Russian guy. He was a little toxic, a little bit. But everyone else, I mean, you had a lot of great role models in this movie, a lot of people to look up to. You learn about good sportsmanship, and you like, you know, if you train a lot as a kid, you do the kicks in front of, you'll be the baddest, like, you know, second grader in your elementary school. Maybe, I don't know. But there's just so many great like life lessons in this movie. You know, as long as you are successful at what you do, you can go AWOL, and nothing really is going to happen to you.
That's right. Fuck the rules and find out in the rank command structure. Yeah.
If you want to get into journalism, make sure you have a vagina and make sure you put it to use.
Even if
That
you're
is
a
how
man,
you're going to get
make
all
sure
the
you
good
have a
stories.
vagina.
Now, out of greatness, I was at a 9.6 too, but then I remembered the smooth baby buns, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to bump it up to a 9.8. An extra 0.1 for each cheek. So
that's your rectum scale, huh?
Yeah. So, but as Handy Randy's, I'm gonna give it the full functional hand. So the way I'm gonna use Handy Randy is like one movie it's either gonna be the baby hand, useless but funny, or the other one where you can do things with.
Way to move the goalpost, bud.
I waited until everybody else went before I made up this rule.
Disease says I would also rate 9.2 exploding bricks out of 10 Fema homes, and then Zach says toxicity is only a 7 because of Van Damme's smoothness.
So smooth.
8 for greatness and 4.2. This is a decimal point in the handies. Wow, that's impressive. And then Rob Alta says toxicity 5, great 9, handy 6. And then David Sir with a 9 splits. And then Disease says he always puts the advantage to good use. Giggity.
You have a future in journalism.
Yes.
I'm going to give an 8.5 in toxicity because, well, his blood was toxic. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And as for the movie on its own merits, I'm going to go with a 9.1 for this one. 9.1. Yeah, 9.1. I mean, the story, it's like, okay, who cares? Just get to the action. And you get a half hour of what looks to be the exposition, and the rest of the movie is just all badass actionary from there. My some girl who tries to ruin the fun for everyone. Everything else is uphill. So, yeah, it gets 9.1, and once again, age is doing more and more favors for these amazing movies from this past time. So, and then Handy Randy's, oh man, I'm gonna go with a full 10 hands, full 10 hands of hand. Yeah, full 10, a lot of hands there. It gets slippery. It gets yeah.
Well, how does that break down between the good one and the bad one? Like
some are gonna be good and some are gonna be bad, but you take all the hands you can get, man.
I only wish I had more things they could put them in. Anyway,
1.5 on the handy race scale be considered a nubbin.
Yeah, I think that's what the 70s was talking about earlier. Just doing a little slip and. Oh man, I guess we're going.
Could just slip in the wrong place there.
Yeah, I guess wiggling one of those nubs.
All right, Dustin, why don't you plug away your channel, sir? We'll let you.
Keto Simple, doing the low carb keto thing, weight loss, all that fun shit. Come by, say hi, see how I make good food, man.
He does, and you're getting close to 1,000, man. I can taste it.
Yeah, like 872.
You're gonna get there, dude. It's badass. I love it. It's gonna be great. And then thank you for coming on as always. This has been a fun one. Hey, as always, man, you know the door is always open, yeah. You know what to do, and make sure you cast your vote for the movie, whether you can or can't participate. Just cast your vote, and I will make sure that it counts.
I mean, I'm gonna have this.
All right, and then the red shirt here, just another red shirt, sir. Do you got anything you want to say?
Well, you know me as a mod mostly. I occasionally appear on panels like this one, or with the Wake Down, or with Smoothie Webcast, and I'm a regular on the MF for Cocktail Lounge on Friday nights. On Foulball Productions channel. See you there.
Excellent. And the mom had spoken. DJ B2 says, great streams, chap. And yes, he's the red shirt. And then there is that 70s rock fan. Sir, plug in.
All right. Well, thanks again, Nick, for having me on. It's always a good time. And thanks to everybody else in the panel for their insight. And thank you to the chat, because you're all fucking amazing. So I do have my channel, that 70s Rock Fan, and I do videos about science fiction-y things and music-y things, and I got a couple of new videos I'm working on. Hopefully get them out by the weekend. So please join in and watch those. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, shit. That's good, man.
Which hand is he got? Have you got as your avatar though? Handy.
I don't know, but that's very handy that he has that hand there.
Well, so I'm not going to promote anything because if I haven't convinced you yet to sub on my channel, you're not going to like anything over there if you hadn't already came to that conclusion. So I was just going to talk a little as quickly as possible. So when I was in the Army, I went through the Army combative instructor program. I was lucky enough that I guess ended up in a position where our platoon sergeant was actually the instructor for the entire brigade, and we weren't doing anything because there's a whole stand-up thing. It was I've never been more miserable and sore in my life. Like everything, I cannot tell you how sore I was. There was 50 of us that started. Our day started with 25 in the inner circle, 25 on the outer circle, and it was closed fist to the body, open palm to the face, and you would just rotate. It would be a minute apiece, and you just rotate. By the seventh person, you're just laying on top of each other. Like, is he coming? Smack me in the face, make it look real. You know, spit in my mouth.
So basically, you were all having sex all day, you and 49 other guys.
Yeah. Oh, so many injuries, so many broken penises. No, so we had I think by the end there was 12 of us that made it through the entire thing. There was just dislocated elbows and ACLs were all fucked up. Anyway, I had cracked ribs because somebody asked a dumb question and I had to be the one to whatever. So I was one day. It was in the middle of it. I was so sore. I was driving my truck. I was going.
I'm sure you were sore.
I was so sore. Listen, we were doing it at a gym that was on North Fort Hood. To get back onto Main, you had to go off and come back through another gate, right? So I'm in my truck. I got a couple guys with me, and the two turn lane like this, right? And I'm on the out, and there's one on the in or whatever like this, right? I was so sore I could not turn the wheel, and I just drifted into the truck next to me as we were trying to turn. I could not turn the wheel, and it was this old Hispanic Vietnam vet. Now I don't know if you've ever met a Vietnam vet; they are not calm people for the most part. So we pull over, and he gets out, and he's just you know. And I get out, and I'm in BDUs with tennis shoes, you know, and my arms are hanging on my side, and he looks at me. I'm like, I can't move my arms. I can't move my arms. And he looks at me, and I was so broken and pathetic. It calmed him down. He's like, oh, I understand, brother. You know, we all been there. I get it, brother. I get it. It completely de-escalated. That's how broken of a man I was. Because
masturbating 50 guys all day, it's going to get your arms tired.
Listen, so when we were done, our reward or whatever, our little special thing that we get was he split the group into two, one on one side of the gym, one on the other one, and then the last one standing wins. Wins what? You say a mountain bike? No, nothing. So everybody gets to tax everyone. The first hold somebody put on me, I tapped out one set on the bench. We're done. I'm not gonna get my shit broke. This giant guy had two small guys one on each arm trying to do an arm bar. He's standing up it was insane. It was like Mad Max. Anyway.
Was that guy's name Booger?
Actually, I don't remember that dude's name. So this happened when I was in I just forgot what was it? This was an infantry unit that I first got in. I was in the scout platoon before I moved over to 810 Cav. And because again, the brigade just stood up, so there was a lot of movement going on once we got going. But was it 112 infantry? Doesn't matter. It doesn't exist anymore anyways. Anyway, so yeah, I figured I'd talk about that rather than sub to a channel that how have you not already subscribed? I'm adorable and funny. Do better.
Do better.
Do better.
Do better.
Hashtag all men.
Yeah.
Anyways, I see you all. Ginger Ninja, Handy Randy, DJ B2, Punk Waddle, Does Z's, Rob Altus, Deleted Seed, David Serta, Zax, Raquel SSG, and so on and so forth. Thank you. And yes, the replay is absolutely worth catching. Please catch that, Raquel. It's great. And Punk Waddle, thank you. Thank all of you guys. Once again, there's great stuff going on tonight. It's per usual. Obviously, there's the main event going on at G&G, so there's stuff like that. But you chose us, and that's great. And thank you guys for the tips as well. And I appreciate Jake, Guide Years, bring all the humor. Soul Assassin, you and Disease, D-Bud, all you guys brought a lot of great comments to all this magic. So Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep it real. And keep it handy for Randy, okay?
Using it to
very
get
handy for
between the seat when you're driving, like you drop your phone, whatever.
That's
you
right.
What?
We all
Man,
need
you'd
a
have to
handy
put, like-
Randy in our life for
Well,
those moments.
to get your phone though, you know when it falls in the crack next to you while you're driving, like you would have to attach some type of like either like a magnet thing to your nub or a hook, something to where because you can't actually grab it, but like something you'd be able to fish out.
I don't even know where my phone's at. But anyways, yes, thank you for tuning in Toxic Tuesday. Make sure you cast your vote for next week's flick. And if you haven't, well, get the fuck on it. This will not be fortified, I promise. So your vote will count, and I'll have the results put in by Friday, and we'll decide a flick in a
He's
few
going to
days.
rescan the ballots to make sure
it's-
it's done properly.
At 3 a.m. on Friday night, 3 a.m. I'm gonna rescan all the ballots
That's
contained. So I will ultimately decide what the flick is.
Yep.
And I'm just making you guys feel like you have a say.
That's right.
It's
Don't
like-
bother looking into my red wagon. It's just camera equipment.
That's right.
Good night, you bunch of dicks. Yes, and good night to you, fellow dick, and good night to all the Dicks division. It's been good. It's been great. We'll see you all next week for Toxic Tuesday. I got a beer review coming this week, and I got another One Bite Pizza review coming this week as well. So I got 2 food videos this week coming. So stay tuned for those, and we'll see you all soon. Have a great night, and we'll cue the music. Na 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 na.